Hey, can we all move over a little bit? Move behind the monitor here. Welcome to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. I'm Thomas West alongside Ryan Eakin, and what has turned into a lovely afternoon for baseball, or evening, I should say, for baseball here at Christie Pitts. The rain was coming down. They had the tarp on the field, but now it's all cleared up, and the sun is even starting to come out. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Barrie Baycats for tonight's game, and two games who are rolling along on their own little win streaks. And the starting pitcher for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, Angel Castro, who's had a ton of experience throughout just about every league that you could name professionally, but he's still trying to get it together here in the IBL.
Yeah, the first two games he had did not go up to his expectations, but the last two games have, or I should say the last game, it went a lot better against the Baycats, and now he sees it for the second time in less than a week, so it should be interesting if he can deliver his best outing yet here at the Maple Leaf.
Castro delivers strike one, and then outside, 1-1. Pitch is just outside, and Angel Castro in his professional playing days had a ton of velocity. He still has some of that velocity. We had him clocked up over 96, and it's 2014, 2015, which was kind of the prime of his career when he was up for a brief time with the Oakland Athletics in Major League Baseball. Here's the ball hit in the air to left field. That's Noel McGarry-Doyle, who is out to play. This one's drifting out there and coming over and making a nice catch out there. And there's one away.
And I think that kind of shows what tonight might be in terms of the win, right? And what it can do to impact this ball game. That was a lazy fly ball to McCaskey out in left field, but it almost became anything but. So something to keep an eye on as this game goes on.
It's always interesting to note what the wind is doing, and right now looks pretty dead with the flags out there in center field, but certainly the air drifting out towards center field rather than blowing in. So balls in the air could be an adventure and could go over the wall as well with the short porch here at Christie Pitts. Aiden McCaskey is out there in left field tonight. Greg Carrington in center. Luca Vascarino in right. And then John Solazzo, Jose Vinicio, Dan Mara, and Jordan Castaldo left to right on the infield. It's a pitch. It's outside. Check swing. Did he go? No. 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's not often that you see the pitcher on the mound want to call down to first base, but Castro was more than happy to ask the first base umpire to see whether or not Ando went around.
Here's the ball hit on the ground to third base. John Solazzo fields it, whips one over to first, 2 away.
And it brings up Adam Odd, the former Maple Leaf for one season. He was an all-star back with Burlington, and Burlington had a franchise. They're now in well in it, but Damon Topley brought him in thinking he'd be an impact bat for the Maple Leafs, and I believe the 2016 season that didn't end up panning out, but here he is in the 3-hole for the Baycats, and it's Wednesday evening.
Adam Odd hitting .281 in just 10 games for the Barrie Baycats this season. Takes over the outside corner, strike 1. There's 2 away here, and Angel Castro happy to get out. Noel McGarry-Doyle, a threat on the base paths, hitting .354 this season with 20 stolen bases.
To me, there's not a faster position player in this league than Noel McGarry-Doyle. The Maple Leafs have one in Jose Vinicio who has lightning speed, but what McGarry-Doyle can do when he gets on base can be quite something.
Adam Odd is 9 for 32 in his season so far. He grounds one to the aforementioned Jose Vinicio, who whips one over to first base, and a quick and good first inning for Angel Castro, which has been the problematic inning. So this is a fantastic start for the former Oakland Athletic. We'll be right back on Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. Still 0-0 with the bats of the Toronto Maple Leafs coming up. Jose Vinicio will lead things off for the Toronto Maple Leafs here on Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Starting pitcher tonight for the Barrie Baycats is Henry Sybil, who hasn't pitched a ton this season, but a big presence on the mound, a hard thrower, 6'5", 245 pounds, and just 4 innings pitched this season. But a 7.71 ERA and lots of strikeouts and lots of walks from Henry Sybil.
Yeah, last week against the Maple Leafs in his IBL debut, he threw nothing but fastballs. So we'll see. Second time facing the Maple Leafs, in less than 1 week. We'll see if he mixes it up with anything but, because whether it's a starting pitcher or a reliever, you can't really get away with throwing one pitch, especially if you're going to be a starting pitcher here in the IBL.
Jose Vinicio swings and misses at the first pitch. The one game that Henry Civil has pitched, it was July 7th against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was part of an 8-5 win for the Barrie Baycats. Allowed 4 runs over 4 2/3. Here's a ball driven out there to right field by Jose Vinicio. That one gets down and clangs up against the wall, and this could be 3 for Vinicio, but he's going to cruise up at second base. Jose Vinicio finds a gap with a ringing double. And that's a good start for the Maple Leafs as their speedy leadoff hitter is aboard.
Vinicio continues his dominance. This really goes back to, I'd say, around mid-June. And what a difference that makes when he gets on base. And you now have Justin Moore hitting the ball. He's been hitting the ball. And then, of course, Jordan Castaldo, who's been an MVP candidate all season. So what a difference it makes. It's no difference with the Baycats when Noel McGarry-Doyle gets on base to lead off an inning for them. But a big double to lead off this ball game for the Maple Leafs.
Talked to Justin Mara pregame, and he was mentioning how important some of the young guys on this Toronto Maple Leafs team have been. He said, especially the guys coming to the bullpen. Jose Vinicio faked like he was going, and he might have got an early jump. This pitch is ball 1 to Justin Mara.
Justin Mara also laid down what looked to be a bunt, which he's been in the IBL since 2016. I don't think I've seen that guy lay down a bunt, let alone attempt one. So we'll see if that was nothing more than antics in this early part of the ball game.
There goes Jose Vinicio for third base. He got a great jump, and he's in there easily. That's a stolen base for Jose Vinicio. Now there's a runner on third, and you could tell that Jose Vinicio had Civil timed up.
I wonder if this goes back to last week, because even on that first pitch that ended up being a ball, Vinicio looked as though he was about to go. So I think this is a game plan for the Maple Leafs coming in, that they think they can run off this guy.
For Jose Vinicio, that's stolen base number 14 on the season in 19 games. Pitch tomorrow's way outside. And you were talking earlier about Henry Civil, and this is a guy who's very fastball happy, which could play into the Maple Leafs' hand here at Dominico Field.
Yeah, the Leafs lineup, especially all these lefties, are not exactly crying over the fact that they're about to face a righty that comes in with the fastball as his primary pitch. As Justin Moore looks at 4 straight balls, which was another talking point we had about Civil, given the fact that he walked a lot of batters, or at least did, in his IBL debut against the Maple Leafs last Thursday.
Walked 5 in 4 2/3. And with the big bats of the Toronto Maple Leafs, they love to have guys on base, and this is the guy they want up when they do have those runners on base. It's Jordan Castaldo.
And you hear Castro down in the third base dugout, which was the cause of the benches clearing incident last week. So we'll see if the Baycats are still upset about Castro and the emotion that he shows from the Maple Leafs dugout.
And interesting as well is you have to think that this is probably a product of the hostility that has been happening between these two teams. We have 4 umpires on the field tonight as well. Yeah,
I mean, these two teams have always had a rich history of stuff that's happened, right? They've had brawls in the playoffs that led one time to Paul Spaljerk, the former Baycat, the former Maple Leaf, being suspended for the entire playoffs. That was the ex-Blue Jays. So they've had major benches clearing incidents in the past. Last week was pretty tame relative to stuff that's happened in the past.
Pitch fouled straight back by Jordan Castaldo. He had a good cut.
Well, going back to last week, one of the things people said in the crowd was we were not able to hear Castro, just given the way that ballpark is set up. But on a rather quiet day here at Christie Pitts, quiet evening, you can definitely hear Castro shouting from the third base dugout.
A 1-1 count on Jordan Castaldo. And there goes Justin Mara for second base. The pitch is a ball. Check down, and he did go around. So the count is 2-1, but that's a stolen base for Justin Mara.
And I think this is going to be something the Leafs do all game. Last Wednesday, we were at Christie Pitts, and it was because the catcher's not being able to throw a baseball down to second base or third base. Now here today, it looks like they just think they have Civil time completely correct. So 2 stolen bases for the Maple Leafs here on the bottom of the first.
Pitch is way outside to the backstop. Jose Vinicio's coming home, and he's in there. The throw gets away. Justin Mara is going to make a turn, but he'll stay right there at third base. Jose Vinicio makes it 1-0 Maple Leafs on the wild pitch from Henry Civil.
We've seen Tyler Plumpton do that play a couple times. Back last month, the Maple Leafs beat the Baycats by 2 runs, and it was on a play exactly like that, where the ball gets behind Plumpton. He tries throwing out Vinicio at third base or at home plate, and leads to another run coming in. That time, Justin Morris stops at third base, but nonetheless, it's 1-0 Maple Leafs.
And just a note as well, that's the first stolen base for Justin Mara in 2 years. Or 3 years, I guess. You have to go back to the 2019 season where he stole 2 bags. Justin Mara, for him, that's his 8th career stolen base. There's a ball hit on the ground, foul first base side. Count remains 2-2.
I think that's a decent example as to why the Maple Leafs think they can run off of him. If Justin Morrow is stealing bases, a guy who you said hasn't stolen a base since 2019, I think the Maple Leafs have obviously come in here with a game plan that they think they can do this all game against Civil.
Hasn't thrown to any bag once and hasn't even checked on a runner. There's a pitch to the backstop again, but that's a smart play by Justin Mara as he saw that ring off the cage and realized he couldn't make it home. Certainly would have been out at home.
And we talked about the walks that he showed last week, 5 and just 4 2/3, but even then, he didn't look this out of place the way he did, or the way he is right now, because, again, that's 2 times now in this at-bat to Castaldo. The ball's gotten behind the backstop, and it's led to 1 Maple Leaf run as it is.
1-0 Maple Leafs. Jordan Gasteldo, the IBL walks leader, has a 3-2 count. Here's the pitch from Henry Civil, and that lead will increase. Walk number 32 on the season for Jordan Gasteldo. He's ahead in that department by 12 and heads down to first base. And once again, first and third with nobody out for the Maple Leafs, who are really knocking at the door in this bottom of the first inning.
And now it brings up John Solazzo, who's been absolutely on fire with his bat as of late. He hit a bomb last Wednesday against the Panthers in the first inning. It was a grand slam for his first home run of the season. And then 2 days later, him and Castaldo went back-to-back against London, the defending IBL champions. So his bat is heating up here for the Maple Leafs.
Jordan Gasteldo has got that batting average over 300 now, and that's a fantastic play behind the plate. Keep that ball from going to the backstop.
And Plumpton's going to come out to talk to him because he's not even close right now. I mean, whether it's the walks that he's allowed, whether it's the pitches that have gotten away from him, he's not even close, and that easily could have been a 2-0 Maple Leaf lead if it was not for a terrific play by Tyler Plumpton, the Baycats backstop.
Plumpton had to make a diving stop to keep that ball from going to the backstop, although the backstop is pretty short here at Christie Pitch, so it might not matter.
Now, one thing that is interesting here is Castaldo trying to steal second, thinking if I can steal second, Mara can come home from third. They might not even throw it down, so that's another opportunity here for the Maple Leafs. They did that Friday against London, so we'll see if that happens here.
Pitch is way up and away.
Although at the same time, if this guy's not throwing a strike, there's not really any point trying to attempt a stolen base. That pitch count is getting up there for Civil. He has yet to get it out.
2-0 the count. Check swing, and John Solazzo went around 2-1. The Barrie Baycats outfield is Noel McGarry-Doyle, Wilson, and Juan Familia. And here's a ball hit. That one's going to get over the head of Familia all the way to the wall. 1 run is going to come in to score easily. Chugging into second base is John Solazzo, and that's an RBI double for Solazzo, and the Maple Leafs go out in front 2-0, still nobody out, and runners at second and third.
And I think you'll see the Baycats perhaps hit someone up in their bullpen. They do seem to have guys down there today with Brad Grievenson, Evan Souls, at least 2 guys I'm looking at, because right now Civil's not even close. And this is a big addition for the Baycats. They need him to be an absolute horse because he's replacing Jason Aquino, who they sent back to the Dominican. He was dealing with some arm issues. I don't think he was ever truly invested to be a Baycat this season. He went back to the Dominican. They pick up Civil. So if you're replacing a guy that was a big league pitcher, you better come in here and be an impact import for them.
There are lots of arms available in that bullpen tonight for the Barrie Baycats, and that's in great part to a blowout win against the Brantford Red Sox last game where they only had to use 2 pitchers. Adam Kahn had a fantastic game. He went 7 innings, didn't allow a run, or 6 innings, I should say, didn't allow a run. And then Riley Hoover came in and gave up a couple, but was able to finish that game off. So just 2 pitchers used last game against Brantford. And that means a lot of fresh arms in the bullpen for the Barrie Baycats tonight.
And one of the guys I mentioned, Evan Souls, is indeed up in the Baycats bullpen. He came in for Civil last Thursday up in Midhurst after Civil only got through 4 2/3. So an easy choice, I think, to relieve Civil if that's what happens at some point in this ball game.
Second and third, nobody out. Pitches high, 3-1 now. Aiden McCaskey is the batter.
5 straight batters from the left side to begin this ball game for the Maple Leafs. Well, that's something that's been the case all season.
.282 batting average this season for Aiden McCaskey in 20 games. Pitches in the dirt. Aiden McCaskey heads down to first base. That's ball 4. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out to bring up Dan Mara.
And Andrew White, the Baycats bench coach, is finally going to go talk to Civil. He had the one mound meeting with Tyler Plumpton where he quickly went over to talk to Civil, but he's going to have now the Baycats bench coach come out and talk to him, but he can't throw a strike. He can't throw a strike. And so maybe the biggest crowd of the season, maybe not even as big as last Wednesday's crowd, but those guys on the third baseline getting under Civil. This is not a vintage Throne Stadium up in Midhurst. Christie pitch is a bit different.
I was walking by the Maple Leafs clubhouse and I saw Civil there, and man, he is an imposing presence.
Between him and Castro, we got 2 animals on the mound this game. These are 2 guys that you know I'm going to mess with. You talk about, the benches clearing last week. If I'm on the field, I'm not taking Castro or Civil, to say the least.
Just huge human beings. The velocity is certainly there, just about the control tonight for Henry Civil. And he has some work to do in this first inning and trying to avoid what could be a monster inning for the Maple Leafs. And Dan Mara is hoping to facilitate that right now.
The Baycats would happily exchange a run for a couple of outs here if they can get a ball on the ground against Dan Mara, who hits some balls on the ground from here and there. But at the same time, he's been a guy that's been able to find some green lots of times this season.
Was putting up some huge power numbers, was briefly leading the Maple Leafs in home runs early in the season.
Justin Moore had that streak where he hit 5 home runs in 1 week to finally pass Dan. I said to him, Dan, that's likely it for you having more home runs than Justin this season. He said, hey, I'm not going to roll it out. We'll see what happens.
Here's the 0-2 to Dan Mara. Nowhere to put him. It's 3-0.
To me, if you're Dan Mara, you have the bat on your shoulders the next 2 pitches.
You'd have to imagine the green light is red right now, and it's up.
He's not even close.
Ball 4.
Baycats manager Josh Mallow's going to have to get him out of this game before it gets out of hand. I mean, Henry Civil's not even close right now.
So 3 runs in the first inning so far, and the Maple Leafs would really like some more with young Luca Vascarino coming to the plate.
And Evan Stills is now truly up in that Baycats bullpen. He's not just tossing and stretching. He's up as if he's going to come in at any point in this ball game.
Evan Souls has pitched a ton for the Barrie Baycats so far, up over 35 innings already, second on the team in innings pitched.
Yeah, everyone can talk about having a closer and this and that, but you do need a guy that, when things go bad, you have a guy that can bridge, the back of your bullpen, and Souls has done that excellent for the Baycats this season.
Evan Souls will be able to give you some length if he does have to come in here in this first inning. He started 3 games for the Barrie Baycats so far this season. A note on Angel Castro as well. His pitch count has just been getting higher and higher every game he pitches. 134 pitches last time against the Barrie Baycats.
Civil continues to not even come close to throwing anything that resembles a strike. Yet Castro, he also did not want to get taken out of the ball game last week against the Baycats. He wanted to go the distance because he feels as though he needs to. He thinks that after being away from baseball for a couple of years that he absolutely has to get into the grind of things. And boy, he did last week, because he said over 130 pitches.
One thing we know about Angel Castro is he puts in his work. We see him sprinting up and down the hillside here at Christie Pitts.
Civil's
outside, ball 4.
This is going to do. Here comes Matlow.
That's 9 straight balls from Henry Civil.
Welcome to Christie Pitts if you're Henry Civil, but that's all she wrote for him on this evening.
So he walks in a couple of runs and puts a couple more guys on, and now the Maple Leafs will try and keep tacking on because we know the offense of the Barrie Baycats is there. It's also Christie Pitts. And we are going to head to a short break as Henry Civil comes out of the game, and we assume this will be Evan Souls coming in to try and bridge the gap to the bullpen if he can. From Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here, it's Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. So here's Damon Topley to try and make the most of this inning for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Topley, manager and DH tonight. Evan Souls is into the game for the Barrie Baycats, and Topley takes right down the middle, strike one.
And if he hits a ball on the ground, the Baycats can come home on this play and still get Topley out at first base. He doesn't have exactly terrific speed coming out of the batter's box, so important to get this ball deep enough to bring home at least one run.
Topley hits one down the line, but it's foul.
Evan Souls had success against the Maple Leafs last week. He didn't allow a run in multiple innings pitched.
Topley fouls it straight back. Damon had a great cut at that one. So as mentioned, 35 2/3 innings pitched and a 5.04 ERA for Evan Souls. He's walked 16 batters in those 35 innings. Topley fists one out there to right field. That one's going to fall. One run is going to come in to score. They're going to hold the second up at third base, and it's now 5-0 Maple Leafs.
Not much you can do if you're Evan Souls on that one. You generated soft contact on Topley, but he finds some green just over the head of Royce Ando, the Baycats second baseman, and the Leafs keep piling on, and the Baycats don't even have an out.
So here's Greg Carrington, Damon Topley at first base, and the Barrie Baycats probably saw their key to success being trying to get Damon Topley to hit a ball on the ground, but he was able to poke one to the outfield, and although that was weak contact, that's still a fantastic piece of hitting from Topley.
As a professional at-bat, to say the least.
First pitch, Carrington fouls it straight back.
It's got to be tough almost in the Maple Leafs as they might bat around here in the second inning. You're facing a guy in Civil who was throwing nothing but fastballs, and now you got Souls who has a nice little breaking ball. He doesn't throw with the same velocity, but he throws strikes. And that's something the Baycats have not gotten in this ball game.
Greg Carrington comes into this game with a 3-game hitting streak. Had 2 hits against the London Majors, and tallied one as well last game. His ball hit in the air, but this one's hooking foul down the left side. Base is still loaded with no one out for the Maple Leafs. A swing and a miss by Carrington. The count's now 2-2. Or that was strike 3. Got the count wrong up here in the broadcast booth. So that's a big out number 1 for the Barrie Baycats.
It is, and it brings up Vinicio, though, who led this game off with a double. That felt as though it was, 45 minutes ago? But 5 runs later, he's up again here for the Maple Leafs, and some big runs on base here in this ball game.
Ryan and I just had an off-mic argument about whether that was 2 strikes or 3 strikes.
I see. My logic was the batter was going back.
Your logic was listen to the umpire. Well, and that's usually good logic.
We don't have a scoreboard here in the access to, so it's tough sometimes.
Jose Vinicio, who hit a double to start things off in this inning, is now back up with still just 1 out. The Maple Leafs were greeted by a wild Henry Civil, who allowed some hits and some walks, and now Evan Souls is trying to clean up the mess. Pitches up and in.
Should be interesting if Vinicio gets a double in this at-bat. Can he clear the bases with Damon Topley at first base for the Maple Leafs?
What do you think?
I don't want to answer that question.
Pitches over the inside corner. Damon Topley isn't one of the faster runners.
All I'll say is Vinicio had a double against the Baycats last month, and he almost passed Topley at third base as he let him know as he got back into the clubhouse. So.
and that's classic Jose Vinicio right there as well. Jose Vinicio drives a ball out to center field. This one's going to hang up. The catch is made, and here comes the runner from third base. It's John Solazzo, and the Maple Leafs now go in front 6-0.
You'll take that. Obviously, you absolutely would love to have a double in that spot and really start to open this game way open. But a sac fly to make it 6-0. A professional at-bat by Jose Vinicio. 2 great at-bats here in the first inning by Vinicio.
So that's an RBI for Jose Vinicio, number 12 on the season for him. It's the number 2 hitter, Justin Mara, who comes up with lots of power, tied for the team lead and fourth in the IBL with 6 home runs. Jordan Castaldo is the guy who's tied with him.
Stoll's breaking ball absolutely has life to it. That was quite the movement as it moved inside to Justin Morrow.
Castaldo is on deck, hopeful of another at-bat. The 0-1. Up and away, 1-1. A 6-run first inning for the Maple Leafs. Swinging a ball fouled off at home plate. Now 2 strikes on Justin Morrow. That has been kind of the key to success for the Maple Leafs recently. Those big innings. They had one against the London Majors. Yep. Man, that is a tough team to beat right now. They had an 8th-run 5th inning against them 2 games ago, en route to a 13-10 win. Now a 6-run first inning. And here's the ball hit in the air, but foul by Justin Morrow. He got good contact, but was way out in front.
And there's still a couple runs left on base here for the Maple Leafs that they'd love to cash in. You go back to last season, at least they almost came back from being down, I think it was 16 runs to the Baycats. And Baycats ended up taking that game 2019. So these two teams, not strangers to high-scoring games, and elite, incredible comebacks.
1-2 to Morrow. Inside, 2-2. Evan Souls is a young guy on this team, 2002 born player from Stayner, Ontario.
In his second season with the team, he's going to be a guy that's going to be around for them 5, 6, 7, however many seasons he wants to play, because that's the kind of guy, a local guy that can come in, pitch well out of the bullpen. A nice addition for the Baycats.
Here's the ball hit in the air by Justin Morrow, and that one is crushed and will clear the bases. It's now 9-0 Maple Leafs as Justin Morrow puts one over the wall in right field for his 7th of the year, and now has sole possession of 4th place in the IBL home run race.
Justin Morrow may or may not have said in the group chat prior to the game that he may or may not go deep in this ball game, and he does. It's 9-0 Maple Leafs, and it's just the first inning.
Well, in all fairness to Justin Morrow, that's not really been a hot take from him recently.
No, especially as he knows the righties on the mound. It's his first game, and also now Evan Souls is in the game now. But nonetheless, it's 9-0 Maple Leafs, and Justin Morrow, he's going to be in quite the battle here with a guy like Jordan Gasteldo, who's now up to bat for the Maple Leafs. Who's going to win the home run crown for the Maple Leafs this season, because it's going to be another race, just like it was last season.
In talking to Justin Morrow before the game, I brought up to him about the short porch out there in right field and that being hitter friendly for Justin Morrow, and he kind of shrugged it off, but also said, yeah, it is a little bit easier to hit those home runs, and it kind of feels like this park is crafted for that swing of Justin Morrow with that pull stroke. 0-2 now, and the pitch is swung on and missed by Jordan Castaldo.
And even a guy like Castaldo, when he was on the Baycats and I was writing for the Baycats, he'd always say too that sometimes Christy Pitts, for a left-handed bat, it can be tough. It's almost like a catch-22 because he was so focused on hitting a home run, but that doesn't seem to affect him.
Over the inside corner now, 2-2 on Castaldo, who has a long look at that one.
I have to say, you've done 2 pregame interviews this season. Castaldo last time against Kitchener, and now Justin Morrow. Both guys have hit home runs in those games. So you might have to perhaps get a Damon Topley next game and see if he can hit his second bomb here at Christy Pitts this season.
Which he can. We've seen him do it before. He just does it the other way because he's a right-handed bat. (3-2) pitch, and this is a big one for the Barrie Baycats to get out of this first inning. And it's over the inside corner. Strike 3 called to Jordan Castaldo, who doesn't like it, but the Maple Leafs will take that first inning. They score 9 in the bottom of the first inning and put up the most runs they put up this season in a single inning. It's 9-0 Toronto Maple Leafs over the Barrie Baycats. We head to the top of the second, and Barrie has some work to do. It's Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. James Anderson leads things off for the Barrie Baycats, who find themselves down 9-0 after a 9 spot in the bottom of the first inning by the Maple Leafs. Angel Castro's first pitch is outside, ball 1.
And it's tough for Castro because he was in the bullpen, or I should say the Maple Leafs dugout, for I would say a solid 25 minutes. So he has to come in here throwing nothing but strikes given the lead the Maple Leafs have.
Here's the ball hit in the air. This one's drifting out there. Luca Vascarino losing the hat, but there to make the catch, one away.
And it's tough for the Baycats too. Excuse me, you're down 9-0, and you're without two of your best bats in Ryan Rio and Malik Williams. So they're really going to have to muster something up in this game. James Anderson batting cleanup. Sometimes he's not even in the starting line for the Baycats. So it might be one of those days for them.
Wilson hits it on the ground. A throw over to first by Dan Mara. 2 away on 4 pitches from Angel Castro.
And it brings up Juan Familia. We talk about the Baycats, and they lose Jason Aquino, who they hope to be a big league ace for them. And, they also were hoping to get Starling Rodriguez, who hit one of the more iconic home runs in Baycats history back in 2018 in the finals. But he had visa issues, so they settled for Juan Familia, who has some massive power in the Baycats lineup, but also strikes out a ton.
2 home runs this season from Juan Familia. He's hitting .244. Serves as the number 5 hitter tonight for Barrie.
And when it comes to pace, strikes, the whole 9, this is the best Castro's looked as a Maple Leaf, albeit in a small sample size here tonight.
I mentioned earlier, he's given up 3 runs in the first inning in 2 of his 3 starts. So fantastic to get out of the first inning. And I was just chatting with our stats guy, Rain, here.
Okay.
And we were mentioning that this is a fantastic time for Angel Castro to get back on track and have a good start. He's got a 9-run cushion.
Has to. I mean, you're up 9-0 in the game. You got to come in and throw nothing but strikes. I mean, if you're walking guys and you're laboring around the mound, so it's a great point by stats man Rain over to my right, because it's a must for Castro on this evening.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. A quick inning for Angel Castro after the Maple Leafs put up 9, and they will look to add to that in the bottom of the second inning. From Thomas West and Ryan Eakin, it's Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. It's 9-0 Toronto Maple Leafs. John Solazzo leads things off in the bottom of the second inning. Evan Souls is back on the mound, and Ryan, you'd have to imagine that this is important that he's able to go at least 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah, this game has just been a matter of, at this point. I mean, who knows? Maybe, again, I don't want to rule anything out here at Christie Pitts, but it really might just be a matter of getting through this ball game. Maybe Souls can get them to at least the 5th inning. You think, okay, maybe the Maple Leafs don't bat in the bottom of the 9th, so that saved us 1 inning. they got some guys down that bullpen. So at the same time, though, you don't want to use all of them in a 9-0 game.
Evan Souls hasn't allowed his run in his last 2 outings, and that last one was against the Toronto Maple Leafs back on July the 7th. Big swing and a miss by John Solazzo. Strike 3, and there's 1 away.
And you hear Castro yelling again right as Souls was about to throw the pitch, which again goes back to last week, and perhaps that's why we have 4 umpires here tonight. And in fact, the home plate umpire is now going up to the Maple Leafs dugout.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing baseball as a kid, and a couple of the people in the dugout would like to say, "I got it," whenever there was a fly ball that came near the dugout, and we got in trouble for that.
Well, in the case of Castro, it's not even like, "I got it." It's just like, it's like noise. That's really what it is for him. So sometimes, he'll say something of substance, but most of the time he's just out there to make noise. And it annoyed the Baycats last week. I mean, Baycats manager Josh Matlow came out to the umpire, I'd say almost every inning. It was a routine thing for him each inning, and it finally became a big issue in the 8th inning when the bench is cleared. So nothing more than interesting than that halfway through the dog days of the IBL season.
And by the way, those dugout chirps as well coming from the starting pitcher tonight, who's still in the game for the Maple Leafs on the bench.
Yeah, that's always the other. But that's the thing with Castro. It's like, when he's not pitching, he's fine. Like, I can't hear him. We didn't hear him on Sunday. We saw him running on Sunday. We didn't hear him on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, something about him pitching, he gets him quite passionate. So you can't doubt the passion from Castro.
39 years of age, he has been all over the world to play baseball. Japan, the U.S., here in Canada, even 4 innings in the major leagues for the Oakland Athletics. Struck out the first batter he faced in Major League Baseball.
I think he hit 95 or 96 on the gun, so he's not throwing that now. But yeah, he's played AAA, he's played AA, he's played Dominican Winter League. He's done all of it, so it's quite cool to see him so passionate here in the IBL.
Do you want to take a wild guess, or maybe you know the answer, who the first strikeout and the first batter that Angel Castro faced?
Well, you have to give me a team because, like,
okay, it was the Seattle Mariners in 2015.
Seattle in 2015.
Maybe we can leave that for the chat if you want to try and guess that as well.
Maybe Stats Guy Rain has something for us to my right, but
here's the ball hit on the ground. That one's going to get through from Aiden McCaskey for a single. 1 on with 1 out here for the Maple Leafs in the bottom of the 2nd.
I'm going to say Canadian Michael Saunders.
No, that would have been really good and clever by me, but it's not anyone of significance, I would say. Really.
Well, that makes it a lot tougher because I'm not going to be sitting here saying I'm an expert on the 2015 Seattle Mariners.
I warned you that you were going to have to take a wild guess.
I thought Saunders was a decent guess. Former Blue Jay, played on Seattle.
If at home you said Brad Miller.
Yeah. No, that's here I was going to say.
That would be the correct answer.
That's what Rain actually said. Stats Guy Rain had that one. But, that would also be my next guess. So. Listen, it's 9-0. It's 9-0.
Dan Mara is the batter now, but still no lead is safe here at Christie Pitts. Just in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and we'll see what the bats can muster up. Souls pitch in there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Dan Mara.
Like I said, last season, these two teams played a 20-19 game. So, as you said, no lead is safe here at Christie Pitts.
Mara hits a lazy fly ball out there to right field. Oh, and this one's going to be the second baseman who comes in to make the catch. That was a very, very late call off there by Burns. But luckily for the Baycats, he was confident and there to make the catch.
That was Ando at second base, but that's the thing, too. You got Ando, who's been a hit and miss in the Baycats lineup. Sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't. James Anderson's played a lot of catcher, a lot of outfield. He hasn't played a lot of first base. So some miscommunication was almost to be expected in that spot, but it still results in a Maple Leafs out.
So Evan Souls has 2 away here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, trying to settle things down for the Barrie Baycats, and it appears that he is doing that after that 9-run first inning by the Maple Leafs. Luca Vascarino is the batter.
And the Baycats do have Chris Cox up in their bullpen, the former Maple Leaf. He went on to play independent baseball.
Big swing and a miss, and Evan Souls has got a sharp breaking ball working tonight. The 1-1 from Souls to Luca Vascarino. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Aiden McCaskey is the runner over there at first base, singled in this inning. That one's low to Vascarino. Luca Vascarino is 15 for 61 this season. It's a .245 batting average. Has 7 RBIs, but he's going to need a double to score that runner from second base. Pitch is outside, now 3-2 on the young righty.
The crowd has filled up quite nicely here at Christie Pitts. Some of them are coming in to see a 9-0 ball game, so you may have missed a lot of entertainment. But for a crowd that looked like it was going to be quite small, it ended up being a nice crowd here on another Wednesday night.
There goes Aiden McCaskey from second base. The ball is hit on the ground foul, third base side. Luca Vascarino walked and scored a run back in the first inning. Aiden McCaskey off from second base again. This one's popped up on the infield. It's the third baseman over there to make the catch and gives a point back to the Bushman there on the hillside at Christie Pitts. And just like that, Evan Souls is able to weather the storm. It's still 9-0 Toronto Maple Leafs with that 9 spot in the first from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here at Dominico Field. We'll be right back. It's Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. It's Thomas West and Ryan Eakin. 9-0 lead for the Maple Leafs. We're off to a sparkling start here at Dominico Field. Top of the third inning, and Angel Castro, who's been rolling so far this game, looks to keep it going as the first pitch is in the dirt.
If you're Castro, just keep doing what's been happening. The first 2 innings, come in, throw nothing but strikes, and that pitch count's looking quite nice right now for Castro.
Second pitch is in the dirt. Now 2 balls and no strikes on Carson Burns, the number 7 hitter for the Barrie Baycats.
Lefty, righty, lefty due up against the righty Castro here in the third.
Now it's 3-0 to Burns. .242 batting average for the second baseman for the Baycats. 13 RBIs. Struck out 21 times in 91 at-bats. Here's a 3-0 pitch from Castro. It's in there for strike 1.
Burns only one of a handful of Baycats left from that dynasty that they had from 2014 and 2019. He was on the 2018 and 2019 championship teams.
Infield and outfield played straight away, and this one's hit down the line, and that's a fair ball. Carson Burns is going to make the turn at first base and then put on the brakes as the throw hits the cutoff man from Luca Vascarino out there in right field, who does play some pretty good defense. We've seen him throw out a couple of runners at the plate this season. He's got a strong arm out there in right field.
And he's got terrific speed, but that arm comes back to the fact that he was at one point a catcher. In fact, he was a catcher up until last year or so. So he's a guy that can definitely have a cannon out in right field and to go along with great speed. That makes for a great outfielder. And if you're Burns in that spot too, no chance you even try to extend that into another base because you can't afford down 9-0 here in the third inning to run into any outs.
So here's a guy who's having a fantastic season so far for Barrie. Tyler Plumpton has played in 15 games, hitting .388. That leads the team in batting average. And he hammers the ball to right field, but it is a line drive and right to Aiden McCaskey, who makes the catch. Tyler Plumpton hit it on the screws, but there's one away.
Plumpton's one of those throwback guys, right? No batting gloves. I think he's maybe the only batter for either team in this game that doesn't have batting gloves. He's a Crash Davis type of catcher, and we saw in the bottom of the first inning, he had to do a lot of different catching in that bottom half with Civil pitching the way he did. So always a nice guy to have on your team is Tyler Plumpton.
He just hits the baseball, struck out just 4 times in the 49 at-bats that he's had this season for the Baycats.
He's not a guy that's going to come in and hit massive amount of home runs the way some other catchers in this league do, whether it's Justin Morrow with the Maple Leafs or Robert Mullen with London. But he comes in, as you said, he puts the bat in the ball.
So the first and second place batters in batting average on the Baycats are the 8 and 9 hitters tonight. As here's the ball hit on the ground to third base, and that one's going to go foul. Owen Jansen is that second place in batting average on the team, hitting .380. 12 strikeouts and 71 at-bats, 18 RBIs. That's tied for the team lead. And he's a single specialist as well. 21 hits, just 3 of them doubles. One of them a triple. Ball hit down the left field line, foul.
Pitch count this inning for Castro is not going as quick as it did the first 2 innings, but that's the advantage of having the first 2 innings go the way that they did for Castro, because now even if he throws 20, 25 pitches this inning, he's still in a great spot.
Owen Jansen was 3 for 4 last game against the Brantford Red Sox, had a double, one of his 3 doubles this season, and drove in 3 runs as well. That was part of a 15-4 win. Jansen check swing foul at the plate, still 0-2. The third baseman.
Jansen has been one of the best bats in the IBL the last month or so, despite the fact he's been staying in that 9 spot, but he's got that batting average up to the point now where I believe he's top 5 in the league in batting average. So
right up there with Tyler Plumpton.
Yeah. That's always nice to have in the bottom of the lineup. You got 2 guys that do nothing but get on base.
5-game hitting streak for Owen Jansen. 3 hits last game, 2 the game before that. Here's the ball hit in the air to center field. That one's going to get down. And the batting average will continue to rise over .380 now for the number 9 hitter, Owen Jansen, as he's on base for the first time tonight.
And you can still sit here and say always still 1 pitch away from getting out of this with a ground ball, but it's going to be quite tough to double up Noel McGarry-Doyle. So as the Baycats flip the lineup around, things could get interesting this inning. As the Baycats, they know they're not getting a 9 spot this inning, but if they can get 1 run, 2 runs, they can slowly begin to chip away at this Maple Leafs lead.
20 stolen bases for Noel McGarry-Doyle, but also 21 strikeouts in 96 at-bats. Angel Castro would take a strikeout here, but out of any kind with a 9-0 lead. McGarry-Doyle is tied for that team lead in strikeouts, but also hitting .354. In the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes to McGarry-Doyle. 3rd in the IBL in stolen bases. Also tied for the IBL lead in hit by pitches with his teammate Brendan Colley, who's not playing tonight. They've both been hit 8 times already this season.
Yeah, that's and going back to the Maple Leafs on that too. Garrett Takamatsu played like 3 games for the Leafs, and he was hit, I think, like
4
5
times.
Yeah, 4 times. So
yeah,
some of these guys, they stand close to the plate, or maybe there's just something about them. Pitches to that man. I just want to get this guy right in the ribs because Takamatsu and you said McGarry Doyle. Some of these guys are just like that. The Baycats used to have a guy named Jeff Cowan that would always get hit by pitches and always lead the league and hit by pitches. So some guys are just accustomed to it.
Swing and a miss, strike 2 to McGarry Doyle. But Noel McGarry Doyle is one of the worst people in the league to hit by a pitch because he's going to go down and steal second base almost every single time.
A hit by pitch against this guy's a double, so if not a triple sometimes.
Very similar to Jose Vinicio with that crazy speed and loves to put the bat on the ball. Over the inside corner, but it's just inside. Now 3-2, and unlikely that they'll start the runners here with 1 out.
Castro beginning to labor a bit. The first 2 innings been so smooth for him. In my opinion here, you can't walk this guy. You have to at least throw a strike. If he beats you, he beats you.
Castro looks in. A big 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called over the inside corner. Down goes Noel McGarry Doyle for the 22nd time this season.
McGarry Doyle doesn't have to like it, but that was a strike against Gasteldo, who was not happy with it, and it's a strike against McGarry Doyle. That's all you can really ask from the home plate umpire on any given night.
Brings up Roy Sandow, hitting .239 this season. Was retired in his first at-bat. And this one's crushed out there to right field by Ando. That one's going to split the outfielders but be cut off. 1 run is in to score. The second one's going to be held up at third base, and that'll end up being a long RBI single for Roy Sandow to bring up Adam Maude.
And Vascarino does a nice job cutting that ball off and saving the Maple Leafs a run, at least for right now. Castro is still 1 pitch away from only allowing 1 run in what has easily been his toughest inning of the game. Home run here makes it a lot more interesting, though, doesn't it?
Certainly does. And in case you were wondering about the pitch count from Angel Castro, I can't imagine he goes over 134 pitches, although we have no information to tell whether that will or will not happen. But it's been climbing.
Yeah.
In this first outing, 90 pitches, second outing, 105, and then 132. And the last game against the Barrie Baycats, that 8-5 loss.
It's not quite the Justin Cicatello numbers of the past. I remember that one season in 2013. He threw 192 pitches in 1 game. So he was a guy that you saw last season for the Maple Leafs, and he's the definition of a true ace.
Here's the ball hit on the ground, and that one's going to get through first base side. Another run is going to come in to score. Roy Sandow goes up to second base, and that's an RBI single from Adam Maude, and it's now 9-2.
This is exactly what you want if you're the Baycats, right? You're unlikely to get all 9 runs back in 1 inning. But if you get 2 in the third and you get 1 in the fourth and 3 in the sixth or something like that, you're right back in this ball game. Now, in saying that, you also have to shut out the Maple Leafs the rest of the way offensively. So it's a catch-22. But the Baycats doing what they can this inning to get back into this ball game.
So it's now 2-0, and all of a sudden the Barrie Baycats have 2 runs on 4 hits here in the top of the third. They're trying to chip away at what was a 9-0 lead for the Maple Leafs, but they got lots of time to do it. The number 3 hitter is James Anderson, hitting .279 this season. First pitch to him is in there for a strike.
And this is a guy you want to get against with Jake Wilson on deck. Wilson absolutely destroyed the Maple Leafs last season. He batted over 400, hit a couple home runs, so he's not a guy, a left-handed bat here at Christie Pitts that you want to see coming up next.
In there now for strike 2 to Anderson. Castro would love to cut off this little rally that the Baycats have got going in the top of the third right here.
He had an 0-2 count to Jansen. Let's see what he can get out Anderson here on an 0-2 count.
Castro's pitch, it's a breaking ball, swung on and missed by Anderson. Castro allows 2 runs in the inning, but is able to limit the damage and strand 2 runners on base. It's now 9-2 Maple Leafs over the Barrie Baycats. This is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Damon Topley leads things off for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the bottom of the third inning. Evan Souls back on the mound, seeing how many pitches he can throw to keep the Toronto Maple Leafs scoreless and bridge the gap to some of those later relievers should the Barrie Baycats come back in this game. There's lots of time. Here's a pitch hammered to left field by Damon Topley, and it is off the wall. Topley's going to make the turn to second base, and that will be the longest single you will ever see by Damon Topley, as he missed a home run by about 3 feet.
I think everyone thought it was gone, including myself. But,
and Damon.
I still think, though, even if he was chugging it out of the batter's box, he may have been held to a base hit. But that's the most Damon Topley base hit I've ever seen.
So it's Greg Carrington, the batter, and then Jose Vinicio is on deck. Damon Topley at first base.
This is an important inning, I think, for the Maple Leafs, because the Baycats get a couple of runs. You almost want to get just a couple of runs just to say, okay, we got your couple of runs, but there's no chance of a comeback tonight. So it's really important for Evan Souls to come in here and have a scoreless inning, because it'd be so deflating for the Baycats offense otherwise.
It's worth noting on that hit as well, Noel McGarry-Doyle was very close to making a sensational catch out there in left field. Carrington takes outside.
You have to appreciate the guys down the third baseline saying to the pitcher that he's going, and that being Damon Topley at first base. 8 stolen bases going back to the 90s for Damon Topley.
That is a stat, and you've been waiting to pull that out.
Well, I have it in my back pocket if need be. I have all the Damon Topley stats.
It's not anymore. It's out there in the world.
It is.
Greg Carrington, the only Toronto Maple Leaf this game who hasn't scored a run, struck out in his first at-bat. Fouls one off left side. And you know that dugout as well will be giving it to him if he's the only guy to not get a hit in this game. So on a personal note for Greg Carrington, probably hoping he can join the hit parade as well. Although he has only had one at-bat in this game so far.
I think I'll get a hit. Write it down. Take a walk.
It doesn't get an opportunity or an at-bat as he takes outside, ball 4.
And that happened on Friday night against London as well, where 8 Maple Leafs got on base via a hit. Aiden McCaskey did not, but even then he had a first inning walk. So all 9 batters on Friday got on base, and It happens here again on Wednesday evening against the Baycats.
So Jose Vinicio ripped a double in the first inning.
And it should be interesting here. Up 9-2 to your bunt if you're Vinicio, and treat this as if it's a close ball game. My issue with that also not to continue to, we're talking about Damon's speed, but he might be out as the lead runner. So if I'm the Maple Leafs, I'm letting Vinicio swing this baseball, or swing this bat. Excuse me.
Vinicio fouls it off left side. Jose Vinicio has raised that batting average now to 284. Anytime he can get on base, he's dangerous. There's nobody out and runners on first and second here for the Maple Leafs. And you mentioned if the Barrie Baycats want to come back in this game, they need to limit the damage for the rest of the ball game.
I remember the old Baycats manager, Angus Roy, he always told me, it's okay if you're down 5-0 in the first inning, but you can't allow any more runs, especially if, our offense is finally getting some runs across. You can't deflate the offense by allowing another run or two. So Evan Souls is runners on first and second, no one out. He has to get out of this jam completely. You can't allow any more runs.
Topley at second, Carrington at first. Vinicio fouls it off left side, still 2-1.
Nobody up in that Baycats bullpen. Chris Cox was tossing the baseball earlier on in the second inning, but I think Evan Souls, they're hoping perhaps to go as maybe the whole game. I mean, this is a guy that, as you said, has started some games in the past, and I think his pitch limit will be around that 90 pitch mark.
A cool breeze blowing out to center field here at Christie Pitts. Nobody out. Here's the pitch to Vinicio. It's a breaking ball, and it's way high. Evan Souls came out of his delivery to throw that breaking ball.
And as I say that, Chris Cox once again begins to throw in that Baycats bullpen, but nothing at this point to make you believe that he's coming in this ballgame anytime soon.
Evan Souls picked up a win as he pitched 3 2/3 against the Hamilton Cardinals, and then pitched 2 1/3 against Toronto in his last game. Here's a line drive up the middle. Damon Topley is going to make the round at third base, and he's coming home. Here's a throw to the plate, and Damon Topley is safe at home plate. Topley elected not to slide, and the catcher was predicting a slide, and Tyler Plumpton just didn't get the tag down. The throw beat him by about 8 steps, and the Maple Leafs go up 10-2.
He may not be the quickest guy on the team, but that was a nice little move with the feet. Didn't slide in, as you said. I think he did not get tagged straight out. And there's no argument from the Baycats. So I think Damon Topley made quite the nice play. And that allowed Vinicio, too, on the throw to go to second base. And Evan Souls, he just simply can't allow any runs. And he has, and he might allow 2 more runs this inning.
I think if you're Tyler Plumpton, you got to come out aggressively and put a tag down. As he was just expecting a slide from the runner, but Damon Topley doesn't do a ton of that.
I don't think he's in the business of sliding. I got to be honest with you.
So this is interesting as well. The Barrie Baycats are going to play the infield in, knowing that they have the power to come back in this ball game, and they're gonna play to try and limit the Maple Leafs to no more runs in this inning. Although they're second and third with nobody out, that throw home did allow Jose Vinicio to get up to second base. No surprise. And also the infield in is allowing Jose Vinicio to get a massive lead out there at second base.
A base hit here is definitely bringing in 2 runs, and at this point, it's a great play by the Baycats because if Mara gets a base hit here anyways, this game's out of reach. So
here's the ball hammered out there in the gap to right field. This one will get down and will score 2. Justin Mara rounds first base, and he's going to cruise into second base with a 2 RBI double, and it's 12-2 Toronto Maple Leafs.
And Andrew White, it's a busy guy tonight. He's coming back from the Baycats dugout to talk to Evan Souls. To me, this is just to give time for Chris Cox. But at this point, you bring in a guy like Chris Cox. He doesn't throw multiple innings. He's giving you 2 innings max. So it's going to be quite the game of checkers here by Baycats manager Josh Matlow to get through what looks to be 8 innings in this game.
I think at this point we're in the business of potentially seeing a position player come in to pitch. In the IBL, we know what a commodity pitchers are and fresh arms are in the bullpen. So we'll see what the Barrie Baycats decide to do. But if later in this game the gap is still at double digits, you'd have to imagine that they try and just get someone to go out there and eat up some innings.
Yeah, just looking at their lineup, they don't have anyone that you might look at and say, oh, this guy can come in and pitch. Ryan Rio did it against the London Majors at a home game they had earlier in the season, and that was quite the experience. Ryan Rio's not at the game today, and I'm not sure if he has any interest in pitching again otherwise, but maybe if they have a guy like Brad McQuinn on their bullpen, or excuse me, in their dugout, because otherwise they're not using a Jake Wilson or a Noel McGarry Doyle, or at least they shouldn't be.
Yeah, Ryan Rio came in to pitch and had a little bit of success.
A little bit.
Gave up 2 hits, a run. It was earned. Struck out a batter as well, though, in that appearance. That was Stats Guy Rain bringing up that stats.
Yeah, Stats Guy Rain had that one ready to go. And Ryan Rio, he's a man of many tricks. He can hit home runs, but he can also be a southpaw lefty. I mean, he'll take it. It makes me wonder now if the Maple Leafs are in the spot the Baycats are in. They have the 9 guys batting tonight. Who's most likely to pitch? I almost want to say Vinicio.
For the Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
Oh, he would love that one.
Oh, that's the thing. He's the first guy to say it.
I know Castro would love him. He's going the distance.
Yeah, you might. He's definitely going 5. I'll tell you that much. He's going to take the W in this game.
He will say, if I'm being relieved, it's not going to be by Jose Vinicio.
Well, my apologies. The correct answer is obviously John Solazzo.
Oh, right, yeah.
Besides him, that doesn't even really count because given his experience pitching. So this is the guy that picked up a W in one game and also hit the walk-off home run in the same game. So it doesn't really count.
Jordan Gasteldo flies one in the air. Going over is Owen Jansen to try and make a catch, and it's just out of his reach. And I got flashes of John Solazzo toppling over that fence that we saw about 3 games ago here at the Christie Pits. Owen Jansen did keep himself in fair territory. The ball was just out of his reach.
I can't blame him in a 12-2 game for not perhaps risking an injury to try to catch that baseball. I'll be honest with you.
Swole's pitch is way inside and actually may have been behind Jordan Castaldo. The count's now 2-2. Still nobody out. Justin Mara is the runner at second base, and he has the latest 2 RBIs for the Toronto Maple Leafs, made it 12-2 with a ringing double into the gap in right field.
Yeah, people thought last Wednesday's game went on a long time. This game began at 7:32. It's now 8:44, and we're in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and nobody out.
Swing and a miss by Jordan Gastaldo. Strike 3. Evan Solz gets him on a breaking ball, 1 away.
Third baseman John Solazzo.
John Solazzo is the batter now. And just by the way, John Solazzo has a career ERA of 2.57.
I remember,
at least on the games on point streak in the IBL. He's been around longer than.
Yeah, he played in Oshawa in 2009, but he also pitched against the Baycats in the finals back in 2016. Extra innings, tie game, 10th inning, game 2. Did not go the way the Maple Leafs wanted it to, but talk about a tough spot to put a guy that is mostly a position player into. So, but at that time, the Maple Leafs did not have terrific pitching staff. They were a team that relied on their offense, but a lot different here in 2022.
Yeah, and there's a sample size for Solazzo, too. He's appeared in over 30 games as a pitcher.
I have to say, though, I do think the position player thing and smacking bombs on the left side of the plate might be the better, value of John Solazzo.
Yeah, and he still does carry over that great arm as he has over there at third base. Yeah. That translates as from being a pitcher on the mound to playing third base. Here's a ball hit high in the air. This one's out there to right field. But it's going to hang up. The wind is going to knock it down a little bit out there as well. And making the catch is Juan Familia.
Well, you have a jacket on. Stats Guy Rain has a sweater on. I went shorts and T-shirts. I wasn't expecting there to be a breeze of some kind today, let alone one that made it a bit cool. So by the 8th inning, I mean, it's It's the third inning. We're over an hour into the game.
Well, whose
Whose
fault is
I'm
that?
just saying I might begin to whine come the 7th or 8th inning. If not a bit earlier. We'll see how long this game takes.
You got to bring a jacket for next time.
Next time.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah. Add it to the list of stuff I brought with me today.
Evan Souls has allowed 3 runs this inning to the Maple Leafs. Pitches way inside to Aiden McCaskey. Had a single in his last at-bat.
Chris Cox pretty much ready to go out of that Baycats bullpen. But again, like I said, he's only going to pitch a couple innings for them. They were hoping to get more out of Evan Souls than they did in this game. No question.
The 1-1 to McCaskey. Fouled back.
It's amazing how baseball is a close game against Hamilton, that they used some small ball to get that W. And obviously Grant Tamani did hit a 2-run bomb, but it was a tough 4-1 game, close game. And now today's the 3rd inning, and they have a 12-2 lead.
McCaskey with an RBI out there at second base takes high 2-2. Ian McCaskey has 21 RBIs this season. He has been hitting in clutch spots. Tack on 5 home runs to go along with that as well. And he is one of those young players that Justin Mara mentioned he's been impressed with. And you'd have to imagine that that's one of those guys that's really caught the eyes of this Maple Leafs organization this season with the numbers that he's been able to put up.
He's been the best of the bunch. We saw Brady Sokornik also absolutely destroy the baseball until he got injured. There's a couple of guys. Luca Vascarino doesn't have the power that a guy like McCaskey has, but he has value as a guy that can play behind the plate, play in the outfield, doesn't strike out a lot, has a ton of speed. These young guys can play, and that all comes down to the connections that Damon Topley has with that program out in Mississauga.
Here's the ball inside to Aiden McCaskey. And here's a throw down to second base, and they have Justin Mara picked off.
Mara thought there was 2 outs. And that the bases, excuse me, there was 2 outs. He thought the bases were loaded. So
bases were very much not loaded. A base running mistake from Justin Mara, but it is 12-2 Maple Leafs, and they still do score 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here on Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Jake Wilson is going to lead things off for the Barrie Baycats in the top of the 4th inning. It's 12-2 Toronto Maple Leafs. They scored 9 in the 1st and 3 in the 3rd. That's where we sit right now. Angel Castro has got through 3 pretty good innings. He's had a little bit of weak contact and a little bit of hard contact back in that top of the third inning that cost him a couple of runs. Didn't help as well that he was falling behind in batters, as this one's lined up the middle on the ground. That one's going to get through. Wilson is aboard with a leadoff single.
And Wilson has a ton of speed at first base, but you won't see it here. He's not going to attempt stealing any base down 12-2.
Speed and power as well. 2 home runs this season for Jake Wilson.
Wilson began this season in the Baycats leadoff spot, a spot he excelled in last season, which is why he was an all-star last season, but hasn't been the case for him this season. His numbers have dipped, but still quite the bat in the Baycats lineup.
Jake Wilson has now extended his hitting streak to 4 games, but the 3-game hitting streak that he carried into this baseball game, he was 7 for 12. That's a .583 batting average over his last 3 games, and it helps that he was 3 for 3 against the Brantford Red Sox with a couple of walks and 3 RBIs. Guy's been swinging a hot bat for the Barrie Baycats in the last few games, and that continues with that single. Juan Familia is the batter. Familia himself with a little bit of speed as well. He's the right fielder tonight for the Barrie Baycats. An 0-2 count from Angel Castro, and this one's lined out there. And coming over making the catch is Luca Vascarino, and there's one away.
And Castro has gotten, perhaps a bit like in a couple of spots. The liner by Tyler Plumpton, it was right to McCaskey in left field, and that one hung up with just enough time for Vascarino to make the catch out and right. But when you pitch a contact up 12-2, that kind of stuff can happen, and that's exactly what he has to keep doing in this ball game.
And the speedy second baseman Carson Burns is the batter. He hits a ball out there to center field, coming in, and that one's going to fall in front of Greg Carrington. A bloop single for Carson Burns, and now there's 2 on for Tyler Plumpton and Owen Jansen. And man, those 350-plus batters coming up in the 8 and 9 hole have really worked out nicely situationally for the Barrie Baycats tonight.
And that one on that hit, that was almost one of those spots where Carrington was simply too far back because, look at the last one. You thought that one was going to be a base hit. That one was anything but nonetheless, a base hit for Burns. And it brings up Plumpton, who, we talked about and you talked about. He's still a guy that's going to hit a bomb in all likelihood, but he gets on base by having a bat on the ball. So you cannot take this Baycats lineup, especially at the bottom of it, for granted.
Lined out to left field in his last at-bat. He has a 4-game hit streak on the line. Talk about all of these hit streaks on the Barrie Baycats, and they've been winning a lot of baseball games of late.
There's no question this is a big game. Baycats 2 games ahead of the Maple Leafs for the number 4 seed. And if these 2 teams are facing each other in the playoffs, I can promise you the Baycats won game 1, 3, and 5. It's the best of 5 to be up in Midhurst. And the Baycats or the Maple Leafs definitely want a game deciding or a series deciding game to be here at Christie Pitts.
Barrie Baycats just 2.5 games out of the first place Welland Jackfish. They're tied right now with the Guelph Royals for 4th place in the IBL. Tyler Plumpton hits one off his foot and it rolls back to the mound. Toronto Maple Leafs are trailing just a couple games behind them. They're 5 games out of first. 3 games behind the Barrie Baycats. A win tonight would put them very much within striking distance, and this could be a very, very intriguing first-round matchup in the IBL the standings are as they are right now.
And it was quite the brief playoff round matchup between the 2 teams. The Baycats last season came in as a 6-time defending champions, but the Maple Leafs won game 1, and I wouldn't say blowout fashion, but they hit a lot of home runs in that game, and they put up a lot of runs, and they won game 2 and ended that Baycats dynasty. The Baycats attempted a late comeback, but Dustin Richardson got the save in that game. So it was a brief playoff series last year, but quite entertaining to say the least.
No one is hotter in the IBL right now, though, than the Guelph Royals, who is the team that the Barrie Baycats are chasing. They have won 9 of their last 10 games. And that average for Dalton Pompey, which I know is someone who people have had their eye on, anyone who is a Toronto Blue Jays fan, that average is really rising for him as well. He's worked himself up into the top 10 in the IBL for batting average. Pitch over the outside corner to Tyler Plumpton. Strike 3 called. 2 away for Owen Jansen.
And it's not even just Pompey. It's Malik Collingmore, who also spent some time in affiliated baseball, but spent some time in independent baseball. He's been a monster for Guelph, and They just signed Andrew Case. You made it all the way up to AAA with the Blue Jays, a Canadian reliever who is going to be their closer. So Guelph, after taking a season off last season, is going to be a tough out come playoff time.
2 on with 2 outs. The Guelph Royals really need to cash one in, and this is the guy to do it, Owen Jansen. Jansen hits one in the air to left field. Going back is the left fielder right in front of the wall. He makes the catch. And once again, the Royals stymied, but they do get 2 runners on base, but stranded out there still. The Maple Leafs leading 12-2 over the Barrie Baycats. This is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Dan Mara leads things off for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lead 12-2 over the Barrie Baycats. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, and what has been a baseball game that has been crawling along to this point, and the double digits in the scoreboard column is probably the cause of that.
Yeah, anytime you can get a game at 7:30 and it's the bottom of the 3rd and it was 8:42, that likely means there was something that happened throughout the game that led to a delay, whether it's a rain delay or what have you. Or some teams absolutely gone nuts offensively, and it was the Maple Leafs doing the latter 12 runs, highlighted by a 9-run first inning, and Justin Mara hitting yet another bomb for the Maple Leafs.
Damon Topley coming so close as well. There's a curveball that goes over the back of Dan Mara.
Solazzo had a couple breaking balls that have not even been close.
.48 strikes and 35 balls for Evan Souls. So that was pitch number 87 there from Souls.
Yeah, I said his pitch count would be around 90. I just didn't think it was getting up to that soon, but I guess that explains why Chris Cox has been throwing and is throwing in that Baycats bullpen. There's no question. He is ready to go whenever needed.
3-2 Demara is outside, ball 4. He heads down to first base with a leadoff walk.
Baycats manager Josh Matlin begins standing, but down 10 runs, you can't pull the guy after 1 walk to begin an inning. You got to let Souls, at least to a biased broadcaster, pitch this inning and keep the rhythm of this game going, because the last thing we need here is a mid-inning pitching change.
This is going to lead to you being cold at some point, isn't it?
Honestly, it's not too bad now.
Okay.
I feel like it's not too bad.
But now that I brought it up.
Well, it's back in my head. So
right.
We'll see.
Sorry about that.
We'll see about that. But maybe Stats Guy Ray can
go get you a jacket. Well, he would be busy doing his stats, though.
Yeah,
so
well, that's the thing. That's how otherwise we'd got our Brad Miller facts. So.
Right. It's an incredible feat that Stats Guy Rain does too,
Yeah,
because
okay.
he does the score bug. He looks
Yeah.
up all the stats, and he's been watching Netflix this entire time as well.
I'm not all that happy with that, to be honest with you, but
Right.
I'll find another Stats Guy.
I don't think we could find anyone as good
Well,
as Stats Guy Rain.
pros and cons of every single person on the staff. So, which if this game goes on any longer, throughout the night, we might get into. Perhaps, you never know.
A hitter's count for Luca Vascarino. Nobody out. Runner at first base is 3-1. Evan Souls trying to get through this inning. A ball lined to third base, right at Owen Jansen. He'll keep it in his pocket though, as quickly getting back to first is Dan Mara.
And now each team has had a couple absolute liners that should have been a base hit that have not ended up being hits. They ended up being outs, whether it was Tyler Plumpton and now Luca Vascarino.
Damon Topley just missed a home run in his last at-bat. Settled for a single off the left field wall. One away and a runner at first base for the manager. Here's a ground ball to second base. This is tailor-made. Throw to second for one. Back to first, and the throw gets away. Damon Topley wasn't going to beat it out, but he'll be aboard with 2 away.
On a play like that, you have to understand that Damon Topley doesn't have a ton of speed coming out of the batter's box. So take your time on that one, and the inning's over. But the threat of Damon Topley hustling to first base keeps this inning alive for the Maple Leafs.
Jose Vinicio will need an extra base hit to score Topley, but he did get that in his first at-bat. A double to right center field. Topley with a modest lead at first base. Here's the first pitch to the speedy Jose Vinicio. Up and in. Or Greg Carrington, my apologies. Jose Vinicio on deck. Toronto Maple Leafs leading 12-2 over the Barrie Baycats. The offense exploded in the first inning, but had a ton of help from numerous walks from Civil.
Yeah, that was a tough outing, and Souls has not ended up being any much better himself. So you can't say, oh well, if he came in the game earlier, maybe things would have been better. But at the same time, boy, did they leave Civil out there right until the end, even though he didn't get out in the game.
Henry Civil went 0+ innings. Wasn't able to get an out. Walked 5 batters, allowed 7 earned runs. And Evan Souls is just trying to get as deep into the bullpen as he possibly can. He's pitched 3 2/3 so far, allowed 6 hits and 5 earned runs. Here's a pitch hit in the air by Jose Vinicio. This one's out to dead center field, or Greg Carrington, I should say, to dead center field, and that one is gone. Carrington goes to center, and it's 14-2 Maple Leafs.
There's no question there was some bad blood between the two teams last week after what happened, and a sour taste in the Maple Leafs' mouth after they lost that game, but it's 14-2, and Baycats manager Josh Mantle is making yet another pitching change. It's probably not going to be the last one he makes in this ball game.
That ball was crushed by Greg Carrington.
How about that home run song? Sounds familiar.
To another Maple Leafs?
Yeah, well, this team might have a little bit better success right now.
Well, the dreams of the Maple Leafs are certainly coming true in this baseball game so far. It's 14-2, and we got a pitching change that we'll tell you all about when we come back. It's Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Chris Cox is into the game for the Barrie Baycats, and he faces the leadoff hitter, Jose Vinicio.
Cox, a former Maple Leaf star, as I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, and once upon a time with a guy like Chris Cox, he was considered to be a guy that was the best pitcher not playing minor league baseball. He was ranked by Baseball America at one point the best pitcher out of minor league baseball. And he ended up getting signed by Arizona, had some success with the Diamondbacks franchise, but back in the IBL, and it's been an up and down second go at it for Chris Cox. No questioning, no one's going to question the velocity, but a lot of balls, similar to Henry Civil, but when he's on his game, he can be a lights out reliever for the Baycats. As that breeze begins to pick back up.
Velocity has never been an issue for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They love to hit the fastball, especially when it's coming to that right-handed arm slot.
And Vinicio is one of those guys, too, that some of the guys in the Maple Leafs clubhouse, they think he's better against the velocity that's better. Like the better the pitcher, the better the hitter that Vinicio is. So, and we saw that a couple of weeks back against Claudio Custodio. So he's one of those guys that, as a guy that comes from AAA, he might just be used to facing quality pitching.
And that makes perfect sense as well with the amount of professional experience that he's had in the Red Sox organization. And you'd have to imagine that he's faced velocity there. But this time, he thinks he fouls it off at home plate. And it's going to be a swing and a miss, strike three. So Jose Vinicio goes down swinging on the ball in the dirt. And Chris Cox on 3 pitches finishes off the inning. It's 14-2 Toronto Maple Leafs. This is Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Welcome to Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. It's Thomas West and Ryan Eakin, and Noel McGarry Doyle, the leadoff hitter for the Barrie Baycats, is going to lead things off against Angel Castro. First pitched in the dirt.
The lefty up in that Baycats bullpen is, the Maple Leafs bullpen is Zach Sloan, but he might just be tossing. Perhaps this is a game that after Castro threw so many pitches 6 days ago that he might be 5 and done, and they go to Zach Sloan in a game that Castro, if he leaves after 5 innings, I'm assuming will take home his first W in the IBL.
Sloan has been fantastic this season, among the lead leaders and strikeouts. Noel McGarry Doyle is 0 for 2 with a strikeout himself this game. The pitch, the broken bat single into left field. Noel McGarry Doyle and his great speed is aboard. And we'll see if he's going in a 14-2 ball game.
Yeah, I gotta assume in a 14-2 ball game, even if you do still second that, the method of even attempting that would make absolutely no sense. I mean, you're down 14-2. With all due respect, you get a stolen base, you get a base hit. It's 14-3. That's not exactly earth-shattering. So
it's better though.
It is. It looks better. It helps the run differential in the standings. I'm sure that's a tiebreaker at some point in some case, but I expect McGarry Doyle to stay at first base.
Not pitching with any kind of slide step is Angel Castro, rather a long delivery to the plate, and I think he knows that McGarry Doyle's not going as well. Roy Sandow is the batter.
And if he does go, he goes. I mean, there's not much you can do. The guy's running in a 14-2 ball game.
Castro deals. Here's a fly ball. Luca Vascarino is camped under it. He makes the catch. One away.
Designated hitter Adam Odd.
Adam Odd, the batter. He has a hit and an RBI. That came via an RBI double to right center field. That was in his last at-bat.
Adam Odd, one of many OBJ guys in that Baycats lineup between him, Roy Sandow, Owen Jansen, Ryan Rio when he's playing.
High chopper to second base. And Adam Mara looked like he was going to try and put a tag on the runner, and I think he did. That's a fantastic double play, all started by Adam Mara putting the tag on the runner at second, then firing over to Jordan Gasteldo at first base. And once again, Angel Castro able to quickly get through an inning. We head to the bottom of the fifth. It's 14-2 Toronto Maple Leafs. This is Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Justin Mara is the batter, and Chris Cox is going to stay on the mound with that big velocity, and he was able to control it in the 3 pitches that he threw to strike out Jose Venicio, and he'll look to continue to do that in this 14-2 ball game. Pitches in there for a strike to Mara.
I don't like speaking on behalf of anyone, but you look at this game, I mean, the fans, the broadcasters, the Leafs, the Baycats, they all want Chris Cox to come in here and throw strikes. Whether he gets hit or not, he gets hit, but the balls and laboring on the mound will not be a fan favorite.
Mara chops one up the middle, and that's going to be a tough hop for the second baseman, Carson Burns. He jumped but didn't need to, but I had no idea where that ball was going, and that's going to be a single for Mara.
Yeah, that was a strange approach to trying to get to that baseball. It's tough. Christie pitched the bounces and all that, but there was nothing natural about that play there by Roy Sandow. Carson Burns at shortstop, Ando at second base.
That chopper was so high, it almost felt like it broke the plane of the backstop here at Christie Pits. To give you some more perspective on that. Pitch is inside, and that's one hop and then up over that backstop right there. And then, I mean, that's the hardest short hop you could possibly imagine.
Especially for a second baseman, that's tough.
The play would have been probably to come in and charge that ball if you can.
Yeah, if it goes over your head, it goes over your head.
But hindsight 2020.
Yeah, I mean, that didn't look natural at any point in that play, but that's why we're up here, though. That's why I am, anyways.
No, that I'm
okay.
I'm not here to play
okay,
either.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you never know.
2-1. The count now. Jordan Castaldo is the batter, then Solazzo and Aiden McCaskey.
Castaldo hitless in a 14-2 game.
But does have a walk, which he leads the IBL in right now with 32. Pitch from Cox is outside, ball 4, now 33 on the season for Jordan Gasteldo as he heads down to first base with nobody out. And John Solazzo, who is another guy who loves the fastball and the velocity, but can he catch up to it against Chris Cox?
Well, I mean, I don't think any of these guys can't hit the velocity of Chris Cox. And that comes back to your earlier discussion, too, when it comes to not many guys in this league are pitchers with such high velocity that they're going to blow fastballs by these guys. You have to throw strikes. Velocity is great if you can locate it, but otherwise it can become quite painful for everyone involved. So and we saw that in this ballgame. This has been a terrific example. Henry Civil came in, and I'm sure he was still in 88, 89, but it was not even close to anything that resembles a strike zone.
Solazzo rips one foul left side.
Something with these Wednesday night games and high-scoring games. Last week we saw a 13-10 game that went to the I think it's 13-11 game that went the Panthers' way as a wild pitch will have both runners advance 90 feet.
Not really the only way that they're going to take a free base in this ball game. Now there's the double play, which is no longer a possibility via the ground ball, unless something miraculous were to happen.
And obviously, that's this point in the game, 14-2. Baycats infield's not coming in to negate a run. They'll happily take an out for a run at this point, or a run for an out, I should say. Castro yells quite loud from the Maple Leafs dugout.
Solazzo fouls it off, 2-2. So John Solazzo as well now has got himself into the team lead RBI conversation. He has 19. That's good for third on the team. And Aiden McCaskey and Justin Mara keep trading blows as that one just misses outside to Solazzo. And the count runs full. McCaskey has 21. Justin Mara also has 21. They've been neck and neck all season in that race. And then it's John Solazzo and Jordan Castaldo following close behind. Here's a ball ripped out there. That one's going to find the gap and end up in center field. One run is in to score. Here comes a second run cruising around second base. And a throw that was rather wild into the infield bounces around. Jordan Castaldo scores. And that's an RBI double for John Solazzo. And as we speak with those two RBIs, he's now tied for Aiden McCaskey and Justin Mara for that RBI lead, although I think we should add those Justin Mara RBIs that he tacked on.
Sure. And I mean,
with that RBI double.
In the case of Solazzo, too, it has to be a bit nice pitching or hitting behind the likes of Castaldo and Justin Mara. I mean, those are not two guys that are not on base often when it comes to Solazzo's coming up at bat. So not a bad two guys to bat behind.
And McCaskey swings and misses at a fastball up and in.
Nobody up in that Baycats bullpen, although it does look like you might see Riley Hoover, the lefty, come in at some point.
And Riley Hoover pitched 4 innings last game as well, gave up 4 runs. That was against the Brantford Red Sox.
That was on Sunday, so it'd be considered short rest. Sunday to Thursday would be typical of a pitcher, but Sunday to Wednesday is cutting it pretty close when it comes to asking a pitcher to once again pitch.
And a high pitch gun over those 4 innings as well for Hoover, but with the situation that we have in this game, that pitch is high to Aiden McCaskey, 3-1. You just want to eat up innings, and you don't want to compromise yourself for the next game. That would be the worst thing that could happen in a 16-2 ball game. Pitch is way outside, ball 4. Aiden McCaskey heads down to first base. Still nobody out. Runners on first and second. John Solazzo and Aiden McCaskey are the runners out there, and it brings up Dan Mara.
Riley Hoover's indeed getting ready to head down to that Baycats bullpen and get some pitches in, because Chris Cox is coming in here and is throwing balls and allowing hits and allowing runs. So the Maples continue to tag on, and we will have to go through their box score now throughout the season, but this is up there as one of their better performances of the season offensively.
And it's worth noting as well, thank God for Adam Kahn going through 6 innings in his last outing against the Brantford Red Sox of scoreless starting pitching, because that leaves arms now readily available in the bullpen. And even though they are able to go to people who are traditional pitchers in that bullpen, there still will be room to spare for their next couple of games. Pitches in the dirt, runners will hold.
And what really cost them too is Tyler Plumpton is grinding behind the plate tonight. It's not been his easiest night behind the plate, to no fault of his own. It wasn't even necessarily like Henry Civil not getting any outs, so that most certainly does not help. But Souls came in and did not do what Matlin was hoping he'd do in that game. That really put this bullpen in a major bind tonight.
Although if there was any team in the IBL right now that could afford a loss, it would be, well, first the Guelph Royals and then the Barrie Baycats. They've won 5 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10 games, just 2 games out of first place. They're right in the hunt. This one's lined down the left side, but it's going to hook foul by Dan Mara. Count remains 2-2.
That also goes to show how massive this game was. Baycats take this game, and they're 3 games up on the Maple Leafs, and now they're just going to be 1 game. So this is quite the playoff race heading down the stretch here.
With that being said, oh, by the way, the next game for the Barrie Baycats is against the Welland Jackfish, then the Guelph Royals, then they have Brantford, and then another one against the London Majors. The schedule, other than that Brantford game, not easy coming up for the Barrie Baycats.
No, this is their toughest stretch of the season beginning today. They face the Maple Leafs again in a couple of weeks, but Chris Cox is not even close right now.
Ball in the dirt gets away. These are the control issues that you mentioned, Ryan, from Chris Cox. Lots of velocity, but now starting to lose the strike zone a little bit. There's bases loaded with nobody out, and it's 16-2 right now. And this is a situation in the hands of Luca Vascarino, who could make this game really, really ugly with one swing of the bat or just keeping the line moving, as there's a golden opportunity to tack on 1, 2, maybe 3 more runs here for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And Baycats manager Josh Matlow is now at the edge of the dugout, but there's nothing you can do. Riley Hoover just began throwing in that Baycats bullpen. He's not coming in at least through this at bat. It is a helpless feeling, but that's what happens when your starting pitcher gets no outs in a ball game.
Chris Cox delivers ball 1. It was way high. Now here's ball 2, really high once again. 2-0, the count now on Luca Vascarino. Here's the ball lined to center field, but is this one going to hang up? Yes, it is. Runners will hold at their positions, and that's a loud out number 1 by Luca Vascarino. Jake Wilson positioned perfectly out there in center field, took maybe 6 steps in, and that was enough to catch that ringing line drive.
And the Leafs up 16-2. They're going to, at some point here, begin to play station 2, right? They're not going to go and tee up on a 50-50 play. They're not going to, on a base hit, try to bring in 2 runs. It's 16-2, and even though it is Chrissy Pitts, you have to think this one is an absolute write-off of the Baycats.
Damon Topley hits one on the ground to second base, on to second for 1, and for the second time this game, Damon Topley will ground into an inning-ending double play, but the Maple Leafs tack on a couple more. Chris Cox had some control issues, but man, did he ever limit the damage after loading the bases with nobody out. The Toronto Maple Leafs lead 16-2 over the Barrie Baycats. This is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. James Anderson leads things off for the Barrie Baycats, and Angel Castro, when he came off the mound last inning, yelled one more inning, and it appears that he has gotten his wish.
But he yells one more inning as loud as he did. I don't think Damon Topley's taking the ball away from him.
Damon Topley, an IBL veteran, and Angel Castro, also a baseball veteran, 39 years of age. First pitch is hit on the ground, and there's a Christie Pitts bounce. It hops over the head of John Solazzo, who had no play. It's a leadoff single for James Anderson.
Have to almost respect the Baycat fans that are clapping for a hit in a 16-2 game, not going anywhere. It's a long drive back home. Still a couple hours, speaking from experience. Hour and a half. Only team that doesn't.
Do you know something about that?
I do. Only team in the league not to take a team bus to Christie Pitts. Believe it or not.
That's a pretty fun fact, and we're only in the top of the sixth inning.
I'm saving the rest of them for later, but right now that's the fun fact of the sixth inning.
Maybe Stats Guy Rain can dig up some more team bus.
Well, I got some more team bus fun facts, perhaps.
Did you give Stats Guy Rain the Wi-Fi password? He's got it, right?
I believe so. I do know in the OH. Oh no, I think it's a WHL. Some guy got traded for a bus, and his nickname all throughout his professional time was just Bussy. So I got nothing left for you in terms of bus fun facts, but yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, trade for a bus, and I believe the WHL. So guy's name is Bussy.
Here's the ball hit in the air to center field. This is going to be a tough play. Running over and making an incredible catch in center field is Greg Carrington. Got a home run this game and an incredible catch as well as he takes away a hit.
Wasn't that long ago that we discussed perhaps maybe Greg Carrington might be the only Maple Leaf found a hit. Now he's in the conversation for Penny's Player of the Game, if I must say.
So what is the reward for Penny's Player of the Game? Maybe we can describe that.
It's a gift card. And if you're Grant Tamani right now, who might be listening to this broadcast since he's not at the game, he's got some money or I should say some gift cards to spend at Penny's because he's the only player to win 2 Player of the Games, Penny Player of the Games. So he's got $100 worth, I believe, of Penny gift cards. So he can have himself a night on those 2 gift cards alone.
So if you're ever looking to meet up with some Toronto Maple Leafs players,
it might be
pick
Penny's.
a Player of the Game and then head down to Penny's. Grab yourself a pint or maybe some wings.
I think Zach Sloan's the only pitcher to take Player of the Game this season. I'm not sure if I'm biased against the bat or towards the bats or not, but Castro might be in the consideration too. Castro would love himself some pennies. And
so if you're watching these broadcasts as well, maybe you can tally down who has the most Player of the Games, because I think if you're looking to get yourself a free pound of wings, that's probably your best bet.
Tamani's the only guy that has won more than once.
Right.
So you got Tamani, Solazzo's had one, Castaldo's had one, Justin Mars had one, Carrington, Damon Topley, Zach Sloan, Brady Sikornik, Luca Vascarino. This is all off the top of my head, by the way. I don't have a list in front of me. I think that covers everyone.
(16-2), Toronto Maple Leafs over the Baycats. They got a runner at first base with 1 away. Pitch is in the dirt. It goes to the backstop. And Anderson's going to move up to second base.
Zach Sloan is obviously coming into this ball game at some point. I believe it to be the 7th inning. He's been pitching in that, or I should say warming up in that Maple Leafs bullpen for quite some time. So no need to overextend Castro, especially to the limits of last week. Take 6 innings, take the W, and get ready for the next game next week.
Juan Familia is 0 for 2 with a strikeout today. And now he checks swings on a pitch in the dirt. Mara applies the tag, or no, he can't do it. He has to throw the ball down to first base to complete the strikeout. And now Angel Fernandez has got Juan Familia, or Angel Castro, I should say, has got Juan Familia. I was just getting the names all mixed up.
Well, that happens.
Actually, I was thinking Franklin Hernandez.
Okay, yeah.
We had him. He had a fantastic outing.
And I was talking to Damon Topley about it yesterday. He said, man, his slider was quite impressive. So Two different type of guys. Castro's a bigger guy. Hernandez is a smaller guy. Castro's a big league experience, and Hernandez is a guy that was right down the lowest ranks of professional baseball. But it's a nice contrast between the two, and it looks like it might be perhaps at least 1-2 punch come playoff time.
We mentioned that Angel Castro struck out the first batter he faced with the Oakland Athletics in his major league debut. Franklin Hernandez may have one-upped him here with the IBL Maple Leafs. He struck out the side in his IBL debut.
And also context, too. He landed in Toronto that morning.
Right.
So that was not, he had a great night's sleep and he was ready to go. Damon Topley had no intentions of pitching him 3 innings. He was hoping to get 1 inning from him. But he kept giving him the ball because how can he not?
Ended up giving up 1 run in that outing, but I think the Maple Leafs were very pleased with the stuff that they saw from Franklin Hernandez. And I'm not sure if he's going to move into any kind of a starting pitching role, but he looked great out of the bullpen.
That is the plan. He thinks he can use Hernandez in that and perhaps co-A spot with Castro. But right now, just the way the schedule is shaping up for the Maple Leafs, they've just completed 6 games in 9 days. The schedule really lightens up here now. They can use some starting pitchers in the bullpen.
Ground ball to first base. This should do it. It does. Stepping on first base. And that will end the inning. 16-2, Toronto Maple Leafs over the Barrie Baycats. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning here at Dominico Field. This is Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Jose Vinicio leads things off for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Chris Cox, after getting in trouble but getting himself out of trouble in that last inning, is on for another inning.
It looks like Hoover, if needed, is ready to go in that Baycats bullpen. No one is actively throwing in that Baycats bullpen. You have to think Chris Cox is not coming out for a 4th inning, so as Castro lets out yet another yell in a 16-2 Maple Leafs ball game.
Ball hit in the air. This one to left field. It's hooking towards the line. Noel McGarry-Doyle now comes back the other way, but makes the catch. Greg Carrington retired. Brings up Jose Vinicio.
What a nice day at the ballpark it ended up becoming. I got it off the subway and it was pouring rain. I said, oh, you got to be kidding. But it ended up being a nice night, nice crowd, and a nice 16-2 Maple Leafs lead.
Jose Vinicio's had a great night, a strikeout, but 2 for 3 with a couple hits, scored both times he's been on base, and also has 2 RBIs. There's a ball inside, and
Vinicio's looking at Cox, and Plumpton and the umpire get between Vinicio and Cox, but Cox put his hand on his chest. He said, that's my bad. I don't think we're going to see anything here in a 16-2 ball game, at least. I'd hope not.
Yeah, and the home plate umpire here is.
Oh, Damon Topley came out, and I'm not sure how happy he is with that, but Chris Cox is a former Maple. He knows a lot of these guys. I'd be pretty stunned if that was an antic that he got up to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not buying that at all. I just don't think this is the time to do it. 16-2 ball game, bottom of the 6th inning.
And also the umpires think the same thing. All umpires in this game came into this game perhaps on high alert, but no warning was issued on that one. So Chris Cox, who's on a lot of balls in this game, let one loose and he hit one someone. I don't think that was on purpose in the slightest.
In a close game with the rivalries that these teams have had, I'm totally in to play to that narrative, but
yeah,
in a ball game like this, no chance.
Although you think that might be the time someone might want to do something because it's 16-2 and all that, but yeah, I don't think Chris Cox had any intentions of hitting Vinicio in that at bat.
Especially from a guy who has been wild this game as well.
Exactly.
Over the outside corner for a strike. Infield and outfield played straight away here against Justin Mara. Mara swings and misses, strike 3. Brings up Jordan Gasteldo with 2 away and Jose Vinicio on first base. Castaldo takes inside. Jordan Castaldo has scored 2 times today, but doesn't have a hit. He's walked both times and come in to score. Swings and misses. Jordan Castaldo as well has 2 strikeouts today, which is incredibly uncharacteristic of Jordan Castaldo. Outside, now 1-1. Cox delivers outside 2-1.
It's always got to be tough. As you can hear, Castro continue to yell. It has to be tough. If you think about baseball, you think, oh, it's a 30,000 seat stadium and oh, it's white noise. But in this ballpark, there's not white noise. But there's guys on that third baseline that just have lots of things to say, and it has to be tough on the pitcher. You almost have to think the pitcher's at least listening. It has to be.
Every article I think that I've read recently about the Toronto Maple Leafs has always had the Bushmen mentioned in it as they might get a fly ball here down the line, and there was to a Bushman, but he wasn't able to make the catch. They had the line Hot Boy Summer going for Grant Tamane with that 2-run home run. I don't know how much you know about that.
Well, I'm no comment, but no, I think Tamane can pull it off better. I mean, good-looking guy, hit a bomb. It's a nice sunny Sunday after you got Chrissy Pitts. I can't compete with that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you took that question your whole own direction.
It was an open-ended question,
right?
Which was a good journalistic question. It was open-ended. Maybe for the last couple of days here, just stick to yes or no closed-ended questions for the safety of this broadcast.
But the Bushmen do a fantastic job of the heckling down there the line, and they keep it clean all the time. You can bring your kid to the ballpark, and you're not going to hear anything that shouldn't be heard by a child's ears. They do a fantastic job of keeping it clean. It's all good, clean fun out there in the bushes down the left field line. Here's a ball lined, and that one's going to be a one-hopper, not able to corral it.
Royce Sandow has had a tough time at second base in this game. It's Christy Pitts, man. I mean, that one was a hard hit ball that took an extra balance, but it's still one that perhaps Ando would have liked to come up with. Pitch count for Chris Cox, just looking at it, it's up there. This is not something he's been accustomed to over the last few seasons. So
this will be pitch number 60 here.
Yeah, I was trying to get someone else to do the math there and see on point should we have strikes and balls.
Line drive to center field by Aiden McCaskey. That gets down and is going to score a run. Making it home is Jose Vinicio on a casual jog from third base, and it's 17-2.
And at least playing proper baseball at this point. They're up 17-2. There's no need to send runners from second base on a base hit. Play stays in the station. If you get a hit, you get a hit, but otherwise, you also don't want to rub it in.
So this is now officially the most runs that the Toronto Maple Leafs have scored this season. I can recall to a game last season against the Barrie Baycats that ended 20-19. Pitch in there for a strike by Cox. Bases are loaded right now for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's 17-2. Dan Mara is looking for more.
Apologize for that.
Just the silhouette figures
Yeah.
across the screen. A little line drive. That's going to fall and be a fair ball down the line. This might cash in a couple of runs. Mara holds up at first base. 2 runs come in to score. And now 19 spot put up by the Toronto Maple Leafs as they are pouring it on here at Christie Pitts.
Yeah, leaving Chris Cox out here it's a tough one. It's a tough one for Chris Cox. There's no question about that. He's really a late inning guy. Pitches 1 inning, comes in and brings the heat. Asking him to mop up it's a tough task, and it's been nothing but. It's been exactly that, I should say. It's been a tough task for Chris Cox in this game.
Although a lot of the runs that have been scoring for the Maple Leafs in this game, they've got on base via the walk. 19 runs on just 14 hits.
It's quite the stat that not even stat guy Rain came up with.
No, he did. He texted me.
Oh, okay.
He texted me, yeah. Pitch is low. Runners on first and third now for the Maple Leafs. Luca Vascarino is the batter. Right fielder today. Pitch way outside from Cox, now 3-0. The Toronto Maple Leafs have already walked 12 times this game, and we're in the bottom of the 6th. 2 away. Cox trying to get out of this inning once again. Pitches over the inside corner, 3-1.
Yeah, the Leafs have more guys that reach base via base on balls than the Baycats have hits in this game. So, and add it to the list.
Walk number 13 as a team for the Maple Leafs. This is really starting to get out of hand here at Christie Pitts. We're still only in the bottom of the 6th inning as Damon Topley comes to the plate.
It happens. These games happen throughout the course of a season, and let's face it, the Baycats came into this game quite determined. Or I should say the Maple Leafs came into this game quite determined. They didn't like how things went last Thursday for a bunch of different reasons, and they came to play, which goes to show. I mean, this is a team that has 10 professional or ex-professional players, whether it be Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, independent baseball, and you saw it in this game, and this is their approach all game.
I love that about the IBL. You get the mix of the people who have played pro ball, and then you get the mix of those great university players that are produced here in Canada. And some of the best players, we saw one of them in Justin Gideon last game, coming out of the University of Brock. Some of those best players are coming from the Canadian universities, but to pick the brain of someone like Angel Castro, maybe the 39-year-old who's really just done it all.
Yep. Even a Dustin Richardson, right?
Dustin Richardson would be a good one as well. 2 guys that have pitched in the major leagues. And Dustin Richardson he has a winner's attitude as well.
Yeah, there's not many guys that want to win as bad as Dustin Richardson.
Over the outside corner to Damon Topley, 3-2. Damon thought that may have been another run for the Maple Leafs as they're looking to put up 20 now, but with 2 outs and a 3-2 count to Topley, the runners will be going. Damon Topley hits one in the air to center field. This one's going to hang up for Jake Wilson. He's there and makes the catch, but the Maple Leafs pile on a couple more. Now they pile on now 19 in this ball game and lead by that score. 19-2, Toronto Maple Leafs over the Barrie Baycats at Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here from what is getting to be a late Wednesday night here at Christie Pitts. We head to the top of the 7th inning. This is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball. on YouTube. So Zach Sloan is going to come into the ball game after Angel Castro had a good outing. Sloan's been great this season for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but usually in that starting pitching role.
Yeah, that's just the way the Maple Leafs have their schedule set up. They can go to Deska on Friday against Brantford, and then Sunday we'll see who they use. But again, having that light schedule allows them to do exactly this and use a guy like Zach Sloan in a bullpen role. So, especially low leverage, it would be quite nice for Zach Sloan to come in this game.
Old tapper by Plumpton. He backhands a throw over to first place, and that ended up being a nifty play from Zach Sloan, as he had to throw it around the runner, Tyler Plumpton, running up the line. It brings up Owen Jansen, but Zach Sloan, a little bit of athleticism on that first pitch.
Sloan coming into this inning facing righty, lefty, lefty. Not that you're playing the matchups in the 19-2 game.
But as a lefty, that would certainly help, and
you won't complain.
Zach Sloan would like to get through this as quick as possible, and the same thing goes for the Maple Leafs in terms of burning arms in the bullpen. Sloan's a big pitcher to have in the bullpen, but if you are going to throw a guy like this out, you want him to finish off this ball game.
Yeah, I think that's the idea here. I mean, you don't want to use Sam Green after he pitched the amount of innings he did a couple nights back. That Leafs bullpen doesn't look too packed today. One of the guys down there is Dustin Richardson, who won't be pitching today's game for sure. So they do have Adam Murray down there, but why use Adam Murray, who right now is the de facto closer in a 19-2 ball game?
Adam Mara brings a different perspective than a lot of these pitchers with that side-winding, breaking ball throwing delivery. Well, it's a 19-2 ball game. I'm wondering if you can think of a game that was quite like this one with the amount of runs that have been scored on one side.
Yeah, I mean, I cover the Baycats from 2013 to 2019, and from 2014 to 2019, they won 6 straight championships. So I saw them absolutely steamroll some teams over the seasons, whether it's the Hamiltons. Back then, Guelph was not by any means a powerhouse. So as Owen Jansen takes a walk. But yeah, I saw some rough ones. The one that stands out the most, and again, it's right off the top of my head, go back to the 2016 season. The Baycats beat Burlington 28-0. So that, I think, for me, would be the all-time one.
That is an incredible scoreline.
28-0. I think in that game, too, Emilius Guerrero, who's now pitching on Guelph, he set the franchise record for strikeouts in a game. So you add that to the 28 runs. It was quite the night for the Baycats. Quite the afternoon, I should say.
Well, we're not quite at that level here at Christie Pitts, but we're on pace for something like that.
We're on pace for that, for sure. We're also on pace to finish this game at a time past the 3-hour mark.
well past the 3-hour mark. The game that I'm thinking of was that one where the Atlanta Braves put up 27 runs. I think it was 2 seasons ago in Major League Baseball. That was an incredible thing to see as well.
Can't say I recall that, but
Adam Duvall had like 8 RBIs.
Okay.
Remember, I wrote an article about it. That's why it's
Fair enough.
It's ingrained in my brain.
In this league, this happens sometimes. It's not your night, but this is most certainly not the Baycats' night. It was kind of obvious right from the get-go with the Dominican pitcher on the mound for them that he can't ever do that again. Like, he needs to be an absolute stud for them, a co-ace behind who they hope to get, Frank Garces. Zach Sloan's now allowed a couple base runners this inning.
Noel McGarry-Doyle heads down to first base, and that's 2 straight walks for Zach Sloan with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. The last thing that the Maple Leafs want is for Zach Sloan to start burning his pitch count. The Toronto Maple Leafs do have, a later game in their next outing, and that's against the Brantford Red Sox, who did pick up their first win against the Hamilton Cardinals, but it still has been a rough go for them of late. Pitch is outside. Roy Sandow takes outside once again. So the schedule for the Toronto Maple Leafs coming up, they have the Brantford Red Sox on Friday, and then next Sunday here at Christie Pitts, it's the London Majors, as Roy Sandow is going to head down to first base. 3 straight walks for Zach Sloan.
And David Topley's going to come out and just say to him, let's get back to throwing strikes. If you allow a grand slam, you allow a grand slam, but I need you to throw strikes. And that's going to lead to Dawson Parks, pretty much the de facto Maple Leafs bench coach at this point, heading down to the Leafs bullpen to get someone up in that bullpen. As I can't see who it is, but someone's taking off their sweater and perhaps could lend it to me.
that was crafty.
Oh.
Dawson Parks, when called upon though to bat this season, he's got a couple hits.
He's been a guy that does a lot of different things for the team, and you need a guy like that. Last guy on the roster, always says yes, and that is Adam Mara up in the Maple Leafs bullpen.
So the Maple Leafs bringing out the big guns from the bullpen in this ball game. They have a day off tomorrow and then play Brantford on Friday, although that is not a particularly tough game. They may be short a few arms from the guys that they're throwing out in this one. Swinging a ball fouled off at home plate.
And Brantford is an interesting team because they do have now an American pitcher that he pitches against the Leafs on Sunday or any other game he pitches, or I should say on Friday. He's a guy that can give you, a chance to win a ball game. Well, so their offense is what it is too, so you need to get runs on top of having great pitching. But they're a team that can somewhat put up a threat on any given night.
Adam Odd is the batter now. There's a 1-strike count on him as Damon Topley came out to provide some hydration to the home plate umpire.
Damon Topley, a man of many, assets. He does a lot of different things around here.
Bases are loaded. Zach Sloan has walked 3 batters in a row here. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Zach Sloan may have found the strike zone again here against Adam Odd. Here's a ground ball. It's a little chopper to first base. Here's a throw on, and Zach Sloan gets to the bag quickly. He dropped the ball, and it wasn't on the transfer, so all hands are going to be safe. The bases remain loaded. It's now 19-3.
Yeah, tough one there for Sloan. Perhaps one that Dan Marr may have been able to charge into, and Castaldo could have stayed on the bag at first base. But nonetheless, it's 19-3, and that's the play that Zaxlon has to make for sure.
Quickly, a first pitch is low and in. This is the number 9 hitter, James Anderson. Came into this game hitting .284. 4 of his 19 hits this season of the extra base variety. Today, James Anderson is 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Jake Wilson is on deck, the center fielder for the Barrie Baycats, hopeful of an at-bat, barring a ground ball, as this one is inside 2-2.
It's a close one to me. I mean, any umpire does this. In a game that's a 16-run game, that strike zone, ideally becomes expanded as the night goes on.
Fly ball. Luca Vascarino is under it. The runner at third tags, but doesn't come home, and Vascarino had a great throw right on the cutoff man. But Jordan Castaldo cut it off. Bases remain loaded, now 2 away.
Center fielder, Jake Wilson.
We're past the point of, I think, trying to play into the fact that the Barrie Baycats could possibly come back into this ball game.
Because, again, the other issue with it, too, is like, okay, they can come back and get all these runs, and that's amazing. But I don't see the Baycats pitcher staff shutting down the Maple Leafs offense tonight. I mean, the amount of balls I've been throwing, the amount of hits I've been hit, it's been a tough one for the Baycats.
But I do believe that run differential factors into the tiebreakers, as here's another lazy fly ball, this one out to right field. Luca Vascarino, who's been busy out there, makes the catch. The Barrie Baycats get one back, but should still trail 19-3 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. From Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here at Dominico Field, this is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Greg Carrington is going to lead things off here in this bottom of the 7th inning, and new pitcher is the Canadian from Newmarket, Riley Hoover, for the Barrie Baycats. Pitched just 3 days ago and 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. That was against the Brentford Red Sox.
Now I look at it, he might be bringing 55. Hoover's 35. And the Baycats, to their credit, are one of those teams that they don't really mix and match with the jerseys. This might be Caden Clarkson, who's a local native of the great city of Barrie, Ontario. And it might be him making his IBL debut, 55. And indeed, as we look at the roster, it is.
So Cale Clarkson
There you go.
is the pitcher. Was it announced as Cale Clarkson? Why did I think that was Riley Hoover?
Yeah, lefty, 35, 55. Tough to tell from the top of the sidewalk.
I put my glasses on,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I should be able to see that. So it is Cale Clarkson, and he is the local of Barrie, Ontario, 2003 born player, the youngest guys in the IBL.
Went to St. Joe's, the alumni of your favorite color commentator in the IBL, Ryan Eakin, who is now speaking in third person as we head into the bottom of the seventh inning.
Did you just shut out yourself?
Well, I mean, it's 19-3. It's 19-3.
Over the outside corner, strike three call to start off the inning to Greg Carrington. And here's Jose Vinicio. So Cale Clarkson has only pitched in one game. That was on July 9th, and that was part of a 20-1 win for the Barrie Baycats.
So it all happens throughout the season, right? I mean, the Baycats on Saturday flying high. They absolutely destroy the Panthers 20-1, and now they're losing 19-3. It all happens throughout the team throughout the season. At least they've been in a lot of close games this season, though. They have not been involved in many games that you can consider a blowout, but it happens.
In that one inning, Cale Clarkson delivers way up and away, ball one. Clarkson walked two batters and struck out one, which ended up in a scoreless inning against Kitchener. Clarkson, a fastball up and into Jose Vinicio. 2 balls and 1 strike to the Toronto Maple Leafs leadoff hitter, who's now turning around to bat right-handed for the first time this game. Vinicio takes way in. That was a breaking ball that went just around the knee of Jose Vinicio.
Hit by a pitch in his last at-bat was Vinicio.
The 3-1. Fouled straight back.
Almost at Stats Guy Rain.
Go get it, Stats Guy Rain.
But the wingspan, a little weak. I gotta be honest with you, Stats Guy Rain. I don't love the wingspan.
That's probably the closest one we've had to catching a baseball. Yep. There's one way in on Jose Vinicio. That was a fastball.
Yeah, it's a fastball behind. And Plumpton instantly says to Vinicio, here comes Dustin Richardson. And if that's, to me, it's not even defensible in a 19-3 game as Damon Topley begins to get in the way. But this goes back to Dustin Richardson, the leader he is. He's not putting up with anything that the Baycats might be up to right now.
Angel Castro is out of the dugout as well to have a few words the Barrie Baycats way.
You absolutely give Chris Cox the benefit of the doubt. Man, a fastball behind. Jose Vinicio was drilled in the last at-bat.
It's just because of the history
Yeah.
between these two teams, really.
Do we even need a commentator? Just get the mics to the guys down the third baseline.
I mean, we could.
The viewers will go up, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, because they got an army over there that'll put the game on. Bottom of the 7th inning, still 19-3. Pitch way up and in this time to Justin Mara. And there's a factor as well in baseball where whether you're trying to hit a guy or not, when people start putting that in, you start razzing, all you can think about is not trying to hit the batter.
There's that too.
And then it becomes really hard to not hit batters.
And it's tough to think that the Baycats sent a kid on the mound here to throw at guys.
Way up high once again. Yeah, you're not going to bring out your 2003 born player.
So, and Brad Grievous is up in the Baycats bullpen. That could have been used a few innings back, given he's going to come in at worst. He's throwing strikes, and he's going to pitch with pace. He's a throwback pitcher, and did a piece on him today, actually, for the Canadian Baseball Network. And the Baycats close it, but they have to use him at this point just because of the amount of pitchers they've used in this game.
The count is 3-1 on Justin Mara. Has a home run, his 7th of the season in this game. And now he crushes one out to right field. And a sliding play, but not able to make the catch out there in right field is Juan Familia. Jose Vinicio will steam around to third base, and it will be a single for Justin Mara.
Vinicio takes off at third base on that play. So I was saying at second base, but I don't think he's going to be hit by a pitch, the last time up and then being hit, almost hit at in the last at bat. I don't think he has any interest in playing station to station. He had an opportunity to go to third base there, and he absolutely did.
So I would throw my vote in for Justin Mara, player of the game at this point.
Yep. He can take his fellow two brothers for a nice night out at Penny's.
Yeah.
It'd be his second Penny's player of the game.
Let's see. Therethere's still more game to go, but I would say the leading candidate is in Justin Mara, and here's my case. He's 5 for 4 in this game so far. 4 for 5 so far.
That would be impressive, though.
Then he would definitely win player of the game. 4 for 5 so far. Scored 3 runs, cashed in 5, struck out just once. He has been smashing the baseball, and he just loves hitting that fastball, and there have been a lot coming out of the bullpen. That single coming lefty v lefty, which has been something that's been difficult for Justin Mara.
Yeah, I mean, all these lefties in sometimes can bring a crafty lefty, and they can shut down this Maple Leafs lineup, but ain't no one shutting down this Maple Leafs lineup today.
Castaldo takes over the outside corner, strike 1. Or strike 2, I should say. 2 strikeouts, but 3 walks for Castaldo. He has 34 on the season. Just outside, 2-2.
I'm starting to think he might lead the league in walks by the end of the season. That's my bold take for the broadcast tonight.
Not only is he going to lead the league in walks, if he quit right now, he still might lead the league in walks.
Yeah, and that goes to show what a season he's had from an on-base ability. I mean, it's been spectacular to witness.
Ball driven out to center field. It will hang up for Jake Wilson, who makes the catch. And Jose Vinicio will come in and tag and score, and that's 20 now for the Maple Leafs.
Fans now chanting, "We got 20."
I'm a little bit worried about Stats Guy Rain's software and how many runs that goes up to. Well, I don't know if that's something you could check there. Stats Guy Rain.
My other concern too is point streak. When the Baycats ace or co-ace can't get through an out in the first inning, I was wondering how many pitchers can you even add into the database, but not an issue as some of these Baycat guys have gone more than one inning, but yeah, we'll see if it breaks down the score bug.
How many, do we know how many it goes up to? I'm afraid that the limit might be 20. Here's a ball hit on the ground. That one's going to get through for John Solazzo, who is aboard with a single. He is now, that's his 4th hit of the ball game for John Solazzo. 4 for 6.
I still think in Vegas, Justin Mara is the odds-on favorite to take Penny's player of the game. Let's see what happens here with the score bug. We might just play around for it. Is it for a bit? I mean,
I just saw Rain hitting the up arrow, and I think he got up over 50, so I think we're okay.
Okay. Maybe 98. The Leafs can keep adding as many runs as they want. I think it's okay up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, we're okay. This wasn't a scenario that I thought about when I was putting the coding in, and Justin Mara is going to hustle down to third base on that wild pitch.
Welcome to Christie Pitts, to a young IBL pitcher.
Yeah, just brutal. They wouldn't let up on him, though.
No.
They wouldn't let up on anyone. It just wouldn't be fair.
No. Well, it would almost be like not
disrespectful.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Aiden McCaskey is the batter.
That is indeed a strike in a 20-3 game.
1-1. Yeah, I don't like pretending like I have a better view of the plate from up here, but that was
blown outside.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not going to sit here and blame the umpire.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3 by Aiden McCaskey, but the Toronto Maple Leafs tack on a run, and as the chance came down, they got 20. It's 20-3. Toronto Maple Leafs over the Barrie Baycats. We head to the top of the 8th inning. This is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Zach Sloan back out of the mound and a swing and a foul back for strike one.
John Solazzo out of the game for the Maple Leafs in a 20-3 game. He has a night shift. He's out. He's not sticking it out. He's gone. So that moves Gasteldo to third base, and Dawson Parks, who we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, is playing first base.
And Jordan Gasteldo has played every position on the infield, including not this season, but he's also played center field this season.
Yep.
I believe Jordan Gasteldo was a shortstop with the Barrie Baycats, was he not?
No, he was at first baseman, but he played shortstop a bit early last season for the Maple Leafs, and yeah, he played first base and third base from 2014 to 2018. But then in 2019, the Baycats had brought in John Waltberry, a former Maple Leaf, and what they wanted to do then was stick him at first base. So they had to move Gasteldo to the outfield, just get all these bats in the lineup. So that happened, and now we have the home plate umpire got the ball up to him. So a bit of a delay.
Yeah, now there's a little bit of concern as I think that ball maybe
got thrown
in the neck area, yeah.
Damon Topley, the water boy for the Maple Leafs, comes out. Looks like he might be okay, which is obviously great news. Both trainers from both teams coming out. In a 23 game, you know, he doesn't want to have to get changed and what have you. So if he can stay in the game, he's definitely going to.
I'm going to walk around to a field.
That was a minor correction. We have Castaldo at third base, McCaskey at first base, going from left to first, and that moves Dawson Parks to left field, and the umpire's fine, and the game resumes.
Swing and a miss. Throw down to first base, and now Aiden McCaskey's got to get over there at first. And he does.
Luckily for him, Familia was not exactly sprinting out of the batting box.
Shortstop Carson Burns.
So the shortstop, Carson Burns, comes to the plate.
Come to you guys for the
Carson Burns is 2 for 3 today. Takes in the dirt. One away, top of the 8th inning. Zach Sloan still on the mound for the Maple Leafs. Inside. Count now. 2-0 to Carson Burns.
Burns has had a nice night for the Baycats in a 20-3 game.
Fouled off left side onto the hillside here at Christie Pitts. Mentioned Zach Sloan. The majority of his outings have been starts, and wherever he's been pitching, he's been great this season.
And if he pitches the 9th inning too, he'll get a save because he pitched 3 innings to close out a game.
Right.
Yes. It's my favorite type of stat in baseball.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saves are not my favorite stat in baseball, I will say.
Anything, right?
And I think that is something as well that's starting to get taken more lightly, especially in this era of baseball.
You know, analytics, people like Stat Sky Rain, right up into the analytics and all that. So
right. Zach Sloan's ERA coming into this is there's a bounding ball that's going to get through on the left side. Another high hopper gets over the head of Jordan Gasteldo. So now runners on first and second with 1 away. A 2.76 ERA coming into this outing today, and he has struck out 43 batters in 39 innings pitched.
No question, he's had his best season in the IBL this season. Should have had at least one out on that play, but that's not much Zach Sloan or anyone on the Maple Leafs can do on that play.
Sloan has 43 strikeouts and just 16 walks, but he's walked 4 guys already in this outing. So now up to 20 on the season. And that might as well be that he's not used to coming out of the bullpen over the
that's
last
the other
few
thing
weeks.
too, yeah. Damon Topley going out to get the ball. Ball boy, water boy, DH,
Manager.
GM, vice president of baseball operations, second of all time in the IBL in hits, with 8 stolen bases, going back to the mid 90s.
Over the inside corner, strike 3 called. Like that, 45 strikeouts now on the season for Zach Sloan, and there's 2 away. Noel McGarry Doyle is the batter. McGarry Doyle now has the team lead in strikeouts, but also that .354 batting average. Third in the IBL in stolen bases with 20, but no one is going to touch Nicholson on Welland. Man, he has been tearing up the base paths.
Those guys in Welland, it's just not even Nicholson, it's all those guys. They steal a bunch of bases, and that's their way of playing baseball. Here at Christie Pitch, it's home runs for the Maple Leafs, and down in Welland, it's stolen bases.
Pitch is inside now, 3-1. All fouled off. Noel McGarry Doyle putting up a battle here against Zach Sloan. If we look at the stolen base leaders in the IBL, Nicholson, John Franco Morello are 1-2, then Noel McGarry Doyle. But 3 of the top 4 all Welland Jackfish. Over the inside corner, strike 3 called from Zach Sloan. He gets himself out of a little bit of trouble once again, this time in the top of the 8th inning. The Toronto Maple Leafs lead 20-3 over the Barrie Baycats. We head to the bottom of the 8th. From Thomas West and Ryan Eakin, this is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. So new pitcher on the mound, and as we suspected, a position player. And it's going to be Adam Odd, who's coming into the game to pitch. Last pitch in 2017 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. As this ball is hammered down the right field line, but foul by Dan Mara. Adam Odd actually appeared in 8 games for the Maple Leafs in 2017 at an ERA of 8.04 and 15 2/3 innings pitched. But 15 2/3 innings pitched, he struck out 17 and walked 13. Although the ERA was a little bit inflated. The strikeout to walk ratio and the strikeout to inning ratio was quite good. So Adam Odd does pitch. It's the Streetsville, Ontario native. Count is, I think that pitch may have hit Dan Mara. So that's the first batter that Adam Odd faces. And it brings up Luca Vascarino, and then Damon Topley is on deck. Adam Odd also pitched for the Burlington Bandits. Pitched in 8 games in 2016. 7 innings, struck out 6. And the fastball looks pretty lively as well coming into the hand of Adam Odd. First pitch is in there for a strike. He might earn himself a few more outings as a pitcher if he continues to show this kind of stuff. Pitch is low, 1-1. Here's a ball lined to first base, a leaping catch, a dive to put the tag on, but not able to do it. That was a fantastic effort over there at first base. And there have been a lot of defensive changes. So that's James Anderson over there at first. That was an excellent catch and inches away from doubling up the runner at first. Here's Damon Topley. Pitch is right down the middle, strike 1. I think she's married to the guy. Runner on first, one away. Pitch in the dirt to Topley. It goes to the backstop, but Dan Mara held his ground at first base. Now Damon Topley flies one in the air to center field. This could be trouble. Jake Wilson is there. He makes the catch 2 away. Greg Carrington has a home run this game. He has a fantastic defensive play as well, and he's a great guy to be batting down in the order for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Provides some RBIs. Facing the righty, Adam Odd. Pitches up and away, ball 1. Don't believe we've seen a breaking ball yet for Adam Odd. I think he's just pounding fastballs at this point, but it's worked so far. He's a pitch away from getting through a scoreless inning as that one's in there for a strike, 1-1. 5 strikes and 4 balls so far. This will be the 10th pitch he throws in the inning. Fouled off by Carrington. Jose Vinicio is on deck. There's a breaking ball, but it misses over the outside corner. Now 2-2 to Carrington. Carrington is 1 for 4, but that one was a big fly, his second of the year. Over the outside corner, that breaking ball found the mark, and the cleanest inning of the ball game by a Barrie Baycats pitcher comes from a position player, and it's in the bottom of the 8th inning. A splendid inning from Adam Odd, and he bridges the gap to finally get this ball game to the top of the 9th. The Toronto Maple Leafs lead 20-3 over the Barrie Baycats. This is Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Roy Sandow grounds the ball to third base. A whip over to first. That's the first play that Jordan Castaldo makes. It's a good one over to Aiden McCaskey, one away.
I went down to the bathroom,
Okay.
and Solazzo's on his way out. And he's like, "Oh, can you lock the the clubhouse?" Yeah. But there's like 13 keys on the lanyard, so that threw me for a loop. I had to.
You want to catch your breath here?
Well, if you don't mind, ad-libbing for a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe get Stats Guy Rain on the mic.
No, that needs to be a thing no one could ever know.
Yeah.
Who Stats Guy Rain is.
Might not even exist. Like,
I mean, he has the ability to just drop his Twitter handle, I guess, as well. But
you can always do that.
bringer of rain.
But I did lock the clubhouse. Took me a few tries, but it happens.
Another ground ball to third. Oh, what a pick, but not able to throw on to first was Jordan Gasteldo. So Adam Odd, who's now the pitcher, is on first base. James Anderson, now the batter for the Barrie Baycats, and a ground ball away from this game being over. This has been a marathon here at Christie Pitts.
Surprisingly, it's only over 3 hours, so it hasn't been.
No, it hasn't been the longest game.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of runs.
That there has been.
23 combined by both teams, but most of them going towards the Maple Leafs. James Anderson is 1 for 4 today. He's got 9 RBIs on the season along with a big fly. 19 for 67 for a .283 batting average coming into this baseball game. Count is 3-0 now from Zach Sloan, who will likely coast one down the middle, but can't do it. It's outside. Ball 4. James Anderson down to first base. 2 runners on in this 20-3 ball game. 1 away.
I'm sure he was hoping to do so, but unable to do so. And still 1 pitch away from getting out of it, though.
Jake Wilson's been a busy man out in center field for the Barrie Baycats today. He's 1 for 4. Sloan's pitch in there for a strike. Infield and outfield played straight away, hoping for a ground ball. Instead, they get a swing and a miss, strike 3, and the Barrie Baycats are down to their final out.
And Stats Guy Rain looks up the fantasy matchup between him and I, and it shows that he's up. And
in IGL fantasy?
No, I mean Major League Baseball fantasy. But as I'm trying to conduct a broadcast here, co-product a broadcast, my stats guy says I'm beating you in fantasy. So it's only Wednesday though, so we'll see how the rest of the week pans out. It's been a tough year though. I mean, Bryce Harper, I lost to injury. I've had a tough go at it fantasy wise. So you're on the fantasy team, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. I got a fantasy team, but my league we only count home runs, so we call it the Dinger Derby.
Okay.
That's it.
I could use as much help as I can get, to be honest with you.
Outside, ball 4. Zach Sloan uncharacteristically walking a ton of batters in this relief outing. Now the bases are loaded with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th.
A loud ovation from Baycat fans who are dreaming of a comeback here. 17 unanswered runs, perhaps, with 2 out here in the 9th inning.
Carson Burns, the shortstop, is the batter. First pitch is a ball. Bases loaded. Zach Sloan trying to get out of this and not necessarily preserve the lead for the Maple Leafs, but preserve that sparkling ERA that he's put up this year. It would be a shame to.
Oh, yeah, a blowout game.
Not that it really matters. Over the outside corner, now 2-1. The 2-1. Swinging a line drive down the line, foul. Just foul. Carson Burns missed it by about 3 feet in right field. The Barrie Baycats down to their final strike. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a line drive. That one's going to get down into the outfield. 1 run's going to come in to score. Luca Vascarino throws it back into the infield quickly. And it's now 20-4.
And the game keeps on keeping on.
Tyler Plumpton, the batter, and then Owen Jansen, this nasty 1-2 punch in 8-9 for the Barrie Baycats. Tyler Plumpton is 1 for 4 today with the strikeout. Batting average now sitting at .377. Ground ball to third base. Jordan Castaldo bobbles it. Now he whips a throw over to first base in plenty of time to get Tyler Plumpton. And the Toronto Maple Leafs win one that will go down in the history books and will certainly go down as a record for this season, a 20-4 victory over the Barrie Baycats.
It was a dominant performance right from the get-go against the Baycats pitching staff that had absolutely no chance against the Maple Leafs tonight. They did their own damage, not being able to really find the strike zone at all in the first inning, but really from that Justin Mara home run onwards, the Baycats had no chance.
And Justin Mara taking home our Pennies player of the game today.
Yes. What a night for Justin Mara. I mean, he hit that home run, but he got on base a ton in this game. And when you can do that in a 2 spot, it leads to 20 runs sometimes. That's what happened tonight.
So a blowout victory for the Toronto Maple Leafs on home soil here at Christie Pitts as they prepare for another home game against the London Majors coming up on Sunday, but first the Brantford Red Sox on Friday. And they keep the win streak going, now extended to 3 games in a row for the Toronto Maple Leafs as they push closer and closer to those top teams in the IBL. From Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here, Inter-County Baseball League action. The Toronto Maple Leafs winning 20-4 over the Barrie Baycats. This is Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube.